As I suspected, 32 flavors.
As I suspected, 32 flavors. What's up, human beings? It is the 25th episode of Toxic Tuesday, and tonight you will all join us and die harder. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see Marc's 47. I see Janet from another planet. Darius Munchausen, Punk Waddle, Dart Scipio, D Bud Martin. What's up, guys? I see Cody Guy, Brian Barth. Hello, hello. Welcome all. And of course, the Jack of all casuals. And of course, Deleted Scenes. What's up, everyone? Welcome as always. And thank you always coming back to Toxic Tuesday. It's going to be an interesting one because usually we all kind of universally agree on movies, and usually the one thing we kind of clash on is maybe the level of toxicity. That's the one thing. But tonight, I think we're actually have some fun clashes over this one because there's some people who really love this one or defenders, and some who like it, but feel like it's just not all there. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. I see Rudy. What's up, Rudy? How you doing, dude? Nice to see you here. Yes, I'm ready to get this show on the road. I'm gonna bring in Marc D with us. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah, even though I think that has passed. Yep, we want to, this is another awesome Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. I got some, we're not going to get into the movie right this second. I do have some problems with it, but it's a fun die-hard movie. And, Willis is excellent as usual. So thank you for having me. It's going to be a good night.
Yes, sir. No, hey, thank you for coming on. And, of course, bringing on another regular onto Toxic Tuesday, that 70s rock fan.
Peace. Hey, hi guys. How are you?
Hello, sir.
Sorry, I was just getting all excited there because the Dallas Stars just scored, but enough hockey.
Rangers.
What's
Rangers
up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend. How are you guys?
We're good.
Good to see you both. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I cannot complain. I'm a man of leisure. What have I got to complain about? I spend all day fiddling about making videos and fiddling about with StreamYards, and so I'm cool. Yeah, good to see you guys.
That's so
Hi,
good.
everybody in the chat.
Yes, hail to the chassis, Tehillim 29, Phantom Outsider as well. Pat S, what's up, Pat S? Soul Assassin. I see you all. I see you. All right, we're going to bring on our other Toxic Tuesday regular, Mr. Dustin of Brutal and Keto Simple. What's up, Dustin?
What's up, everybody?
Welcome, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. It's dude, I'm so happy to have you on, basically on a regular basis. This has been awesome, and I'm very curious to see what your take on this is going to be later on. It's going to be another fun one, especially when Mad gets here and we talk about men. That's when it's going to get very doodly up in here. So, yes, we're bringing our other guy here. Well, he's been on here quite a few times. A lot of you guys know him. He's got some phrase. It's clobbering times. What's up?
Hey, welcome. I always say I'm so used to being on my own damn channel. I can't welcome myself to someone else's channel, so I apologize for that. Nicholas, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man? I'm glad to have you on. This is going to be,
Thank you.
As I mentioned earlier, I'm glad you're the perfect guy to get on for the stream. So we're having a nice, good old discourse on how we die harder and whether we agree or don't agree on dying harder. So it's gonna be glorious. It's gonna be great.
Have a question for you, though.
Yes.
How can the same shit happen to the same guy twice? Just this movie asks that eternal question.
Because
deja vu all over again. It's the great
a sequel is the answer, but you're not supposed to answer it
because it was written that way.
Well, you could have just said because sequel,
because money. Sorry, did I see that?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Well, look at a great crowd we got there in the chat. Hello, everyone.
Yes,
especially the lady Janet and you guys too, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess us too. I see Pope Metallicus the first, DJ B2. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining us. All right, we're bringing another Toxic Tuesday regular, Mr. Jesse Miller. What's up, dude? Nice lights. Yeah, hey, you rumored that You boomered it.
Nice.
Because I muted myself at the beginning. Yeah, my lights are weighing down my microphone considerably. See it?
There are 4 lights.
Yeah,
for
these
sure.
little twist things on these rocker arms, they're garbage. But seeing as we're going to watch this film, I think that we should all read from the book of Die Hard, seeing as it's the Christmas season. Everyone put your hands together. No one dies harder than John McClane. Even when his wife is stuck on a plane, about to crash into Potomac River on the eve of Christmas. But even though airport security kicked him out, that John McClane was just too damn proud, and nothing could ever make him not deliver, because that's his business.
Amen.
That's just a song. That's a song by guys.
Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
All right.
Now
Well,
say
welcome,
3
Jesse.
Marys.
I appreciate you coming on as always. Thank you, thank you. I see a dad man walk in the chat. Welcome, welcome. And of course, basically another regular here, Mr. Tom Connors, of the man of many voices. I think sometimes he's William Shatner, though. I think he's William Shatner in disguise. What's up, Tom? He's just drinking. It's all matters. It's all matters. He's just drinking. He's hanging out.
Hey, kids.
Hello, Tom. How about you, sir?
Silent
I'm
talk
here.
is best-
He's
Silent
here.
talk is best
How
talk.
can the same shit happen to the same guy twice?
It's like you were on last week. Yeah, why did this same shit happen to the same guy twice? Yeah, that's true. All right. And then, well, guys, for those who are wondering, Mr. Martigan, he will be here shortly. And if he doesn't show up, well, I guess he's fucked. Anyways, we're going to bring on a newcomer to Toxic Tuesday. I've been wanting to have this guy for,
do we
on
get
here
to
for quite
haze him?
some time.
We get to haze him.
Mr. Yeti Cast.
Hey, so I totally misread what today was all about because I thought it was all about how you get harder. So I watched the wrong movies.
So you were working out all day then? You were pumping iron.
Hey, dude, I'm glad you could come on. It's about time you joined for some Toxic Tuesday.
Oh, I know. Yeah, thanks for having me. You know, usually I'm like editing and listening in the background, so it's nice to actually be here.
Nice,
Hey, bro.
nice. Well, you know, since it's your first time on here, we'll let you have the floor first. Why don't you talk about your initial experience with Die Hard 2, Die Harder, the whens.
Well,
the
you forgot
wheres,
one
the going
important
on.
thing about Toxic Tuesday when it's your
What?
first time here.
What?
You have to tell everybody about your first time.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
And then the ritual hazing, the debagging.
So my first
Everybody
time
does
doing
it,
what?
Yeti. What do you know? What?
No, wait, which what? Like watching Die Harder?
I'm pretty sure he's talking about laying the pipe.
Yeah.
This is a bunch of geeks. You expect anyone to have a first time? Sorry.
What you'd imagine it would be. Yeah.
Oh,
That would
was
imply
good.
sir, that there was a second
You
time.
got to pop your cherry by telling us how your cherry was popped.
Yes, tell us about your cherry and then how you died harder at the
No, I'm kidding. Of course, I'm just
about that
talking
one
about
horrible Boy Scout jamboree.
I just remember there being a whole lot of cheering afterwards. Now, I don't know if it was a girl or me, but, you know, one of the two happened.
You're not supposed to do it in a parking lot. Well, I've done it in a parking lot. I can't say anything.
Well, nobody told me that.
Yeah, but yet he filmed it just in case it didn't happen again. So you
But, you know, it's kind of like back in the day when you were in the arcade and everybody starts gathering around somebody who's actually winning. Yeah, same mentality.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
clapping,
yeah.
a lot of impressive gasps, like, oh my God, is that real?
I think the clapping was just because of the speed that you got it over with.
Yeah, like a
You broke the
metronome, they're
world.
trying to keep pace for you.
Yeah, broke the world record.
There's some guy sitting on the edge of your car hood going, row, row.
So was it a happy ending?
Well, at least for me.
He said, how could the same shit happen to the same guy twice?
Well, it's only you that counts, Yeti, because you know the old joke. How do you give a woman an orgasm? Who cares?
How do you make a hormone? Don't pay her.
I know Van Halen was playing at the time.
What, live? This was in a theater.
Yeah, right.
it right
so
now?
1990, you got to see Die Hard 2 and you got a Van Halen concert.
Now I
Dude.
can't jerk off without listening to Eruption.
Yeah. It's Pee Wee Herman in the theater too.
Pee Wee Herman is still going strong. He has a great Instagram. He's a real nice guy.
He's a good lad. Yeah, he got hard done by, literally.
Yeah, he really did get fucked in the press. They just took him
Bruce,
and fucking had
Bruce
field
Willis
day
was
for no
riding
reason.
what looked like Pee Wee Herman's bike later in the movie, right?
Right,
I was
yeah.
thinking of Pee Wee.
Yeah.
I forgot about that until I watched
But
it
you
the
missed
other
it.
day.
Shoving him off the bike so he could get on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else you want to add, Yeti, about your initial first time, reactions and moans?
Oh, I think I covered it pretty well. It was,
Okay.
all shock and awe.
All shock and awe. All right. The Yeti has spoken. Mark D with a C. Why don't you tell us about life with Die Hard 2, Die Harder?
Yep. Oh, and I got the slideshow ready to go.
All right. I'll slide in. I'm going to slide in right now.
Yep. There we go.
Oh, be gentle.
How long does it take you to make these? Because they go like the entire show. It must take forever.
Yeah, Nick is paying me extra for this, which is great. So no, actually, all I do is
Paying you?
when I'm
You're getting paid?
How many handy Randys
Wait a
are
minute.
there?
he's sending me
Wait a
Twinkies.
minute.
Can't you tell? Right? If I'm clipping Die Hard, I get paid in Twinkies.
You wouldn't even give me a reach around. Like,
I tried to do one of these today, Mark, in the way that you advised me, and I ended up with nothing, so I was doing it wrong. I literally got to watch a movie while I was doing it.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm the engineer, right, for clobbering time. So, yeah, basically what you do, I watch the movie and I just, there's a button. You clip it as you watch the movie, so you just got to keep pressing the button. So, a chimpanzee could do it. No offense, but maybe it is
And two trainees.
Yeah, but I just watch it and clip it. But yeah, so
You'll have to
I'd
send
missed
that to
the.
me so I could use it for my toolbox.
Yeah, I'll let you guys. Yeah, I'll put in the private chat how to do it, but it's not too bad. Yeah, no, I'd missed this movie. In the first Die Hard in the movie theater, I remember my roommate was at the time. He's like, "How did you not go see this movie?" The first one. He's like, "It was so awesome," and I always regretted not seeing it in the movie theater. So, of course, was there. Probably was there opening night or the movie like this, and yeah, just I gotta say, I love the movie, but it's ridiculous, but it's good because Willis is good. I think Willis makes the movie work. If you didn't have the good acting and Dennis Franz, and you got John Amos is good in the end. There's a good twist in that.
Yeah, well, it certainly has charisma. That's no.
Yeah, and I think they're kind of
the beeper.
Yeah, the beeper. Yeah, and at the time too, I'm trying to. What year was this movie out?
1990. Because they emphasize how it's the 90s in this movie.
Okay, yeah. So one thing that would have been happening back, in the late 80s, I remember a lot of school trips got canceled because of terrorism. You had the whole situation in Italy, and you had all kinds of incidents, and trips were canceled. So, and you had Muammar Gaddafi. So, this seems like just yesterday to me, but I think they're kind of spoofing Muammar Gaddafi, Oliver North.
Yeah, they certainly are.
It's Oliver North for sure. That's one of the things
North.
I hated. I hated that it was Oliver North. They made it political.
Yeah, so that's if you know the history. Like now, if you watch it, people might not remember who Oliver North is, or
It's then that was called the Iran Contra scandal. It was important.
It was totally based on that, unfortunately, which is kind of a strike against it for me.
Hey, how do you get pictures of me?
You're working out today, yeah.
The great William Sadler,
the Grim Reaper, dude.
Where's Mad for this? This should be his scene.
I know, right? Sadler, Mad scene.
He needed an extra 20 seconds after seeing that.
Yeah, he's great. Wait.
If he's standing there with his ass to the camera, how come there's no balls hanging?
Well, indeed.
I was just thinking that actually. Like, is the guy a little short?
They're like, they duct tape my dick to my stomach.
It's because if you're a ninja like him, you can retract them into your body. You see?
Oh, I was thinking gaffer's tape.
That doesn't explain why you can't see the dick hanging. There should be a little swing going.
So is the movie losing a rating point because of that?
I see Handy Randy's here in the chat. How's it going, Handy Randy?
What we didn't think of is that he might be fully erect while he's doing that.
That's true.
And where's the shadow?
The whole other creepy aspect to that scene.
When I first saw
that's what he used to break boards.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, go on,
I
Mark.
really
Back
like
to Mark.
I really like, loved the movie. Thought, some scenes were ridiculous that we'll talk about, like, the 747 and the ejection seat. I'm sure we'll all talk about this stuff, but you just love Willis against the system, and the typical, people not believing him, and then of course the guy on the airplane who's the a-hole. So yeah, it's a fun movie, but lots of problems with it. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. So
that one guy's got a present.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have Clobbering. Why don't you have your talk about Die Hard 2?
1990. When I went to the theater to see this, it was right around. I can't remember the exact release date, but I think I saw it right around. A lot of things were going on then. I'd gone to see it a few times, and the most memorable being is when I went to Atlanta for Atlanta Fantasy Fair, because the morning I went to see it, they had a movie theater at the CNN Center. I'd already seen it quite a number of times. That was the same day I got to meet Jack Kirby again and spend all day with him. So this movie's connected to that for me for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Die Hard secondary that day. What the hell?
Big time, but I'd already seen it a few times. It was, we needed time to kill in the morning. I'd already seen it a couple. I'd already seen it quite a few times. So somehow it's always connected to that. But I guess, look, when it comes to the character of John McClane, nothing will ever touch the first film for me. But I'm not very lenient on many things when it comes to critiquing. But if I get to see John McClane having an adventure, usually I'll be lenient on a lot of the other things, because I went into the first Die Hard film, well, we'll talk about that next week, really, not expecting anything, because this was the guy from Moonlighting. And then I really loved the character. Seeing him get further adventures just makes sense. And I walked out, just had a great time. You're never going to top the original. Mm-hmm. But and Rennie Harlan is not really very good. Let's face it, he's kind of a hack director, let's be honest. For the most part. But this one has all the requisite stuff that a Die Hard film should have. It's very sequel-y, though, in terms of, yes, this takes place a year later. This has to be at Christmas again. They had to pull out this. Look, even back then, 30-something years ago, they were doing a lot of the same old Hollywood crap of getting political with the Ollie North crap parallel. Mm-hmm. But I just put that aside. Sadler, well, no, Hans is plays a pretty good villain.
Very imposing. Yeah,
he's really good. And again, that's probably a smart way to go with it. Go with a villain that's not exactly the same as Hans. Mm-hmm. I'll give them that. On the whole, like Mark said, there's some really ridiculous.
That's some pretty bad phrasing right after talking about that main villain when we saw his ass shot.
Well, it is now that you brought that. Now that you said that,
maybe avoid on the whole.
Yes.
As long as you're not in the hole, you're fine.
Yeah. Well, you guys are the ones obsessed with
circle it a little bit.
Every time I watch it, I just kind of like move my eyes to the side a little so I don't see the ass of death.
Ass of death.
Yeah.
Don't overlook his butt. Reaping burns lots of calories.
The Reaper's butt.
That's right.
But he's, this is a highly entertaining film. No one in a class with the first film, but it is logical progression of the character. I thought we got to see Dick come back, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense that he's there. That we're just now seeing him just now realizing that that Bonnie Bedelia, Mrs. McClane is on the plane with him after they probably on the plane for like 5 hours. Mm-hmm. This movie makes a lot of mistakes in logic, but overall, you get to see John McClane doing ridiculous things against bad guys, and so it works.
All right, killer.
They do kind
well
of
said.
Like the plane is just like a hallway that people wandered into. It's not like they were hanging out like 2 hours beforehand, sitting in the same cramped chairs in the terminal.
All of a sudden, they're pushing. All of a sudden, they're putting them in a different section. Though, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. Cool. Clobbering. I'm assuming that's all you got for now.
Yeah, I wish I got a chance to watch it again. It's been maybe a year or so.
Well, it sounds like you have a damn good memory of it, dude. All right, well, I'm going to carry on over to the next toxic male, Mr. Tom Connors. Why don't you talk about Life of Die Hard 2?
Did Jesse get to go yet, or?
I was going to have him go right after you.
Oh, mine's fast as shit.
Oh, well, yeah. Until the newer films, this was my least favorite of the bunch. But I mean, it's got a great cast. The setup is really decent, but just if you could have took out a bunch of the sequelitis bullshit, it would have really helped the movie. Like if it would have just taken place on any other day other than Christmas. You know, like there's just a few little things they could have tweaked that would have helped. And then the other problem you have with this film is the reason I make, you know, all joking aside about the Die Hard score, like that's where the joke comes from, is like after the first Die Hard, like there was tons and tons of ripoffs. Like every action movie after Die Hard was trying to be Die Hard. So basically by the time you get to the second one, even though it's 3 years or 2 years after the first movie, there was already a couple of ripoffs already at this point. So this movie had to amp it up, and that's where it loses some of its verisimilitude. And the first movie was already pushed to that point, right?
Well, like, isn't one of the giant flaws in all that just how nobody understood that it was because they put the story first, and then it was just a guy that just got wrapped up in the action. Everybody misses it. Was the story was so strong
in the first one? You mean?
In the first.
Right.
Right. Well, and the first one has a very believable setup, and so does this one to a point. Right.
Does it say to a point?
Like the first one is completely believable, and you know, John McClane is the reluctant hero throughout, and he's just there to see his wife, and then he's supposed to go see his family. He doesn't even want to be there. You know, this is kind of a little different setup here. And you know, his responsibility, the only reason he gives a shit is because his wife's on the plane, right? So I mean, and again, I think it feels like that's the only reason that character is there. So you have like a lot of like the characters just there because we need them there for the sequel. Even I think we were joking about the fingerprint scene on the Mead Live earlier, where it's like, just so they could have a scene with Powell. You know, it's like, there's a lot of that kind of shit.
Like,
But it's great to see it's great to see the characters, but it's like, are you going to that extent just so you could have that little cameo?
Oh, totally, for plot convenience.
Oh, yeah, but also he was going to need help from somebody. I mean, he's got to call somebody. They're not going to help him.
And he was eating Twinkies.
Then just in retrospect,
love the Twinkies.
Die Hard with a Vengeance was just so fucking good.
Oh, hell
right?
I don't know.
I know, Club, you're not a fan, but I fucking
imagine how much better Die Hard with a Vengeance would have been if it was Christmas.
I do love that movie. Now it just took me a while. It took me a few years to warm up to it, but I do agree with you. I do love it. It's just highly flawed like this one, I think. But go ahead.
I mean, I don't see the flaws in that one so much outside of some of the verisimilitude, but like this movie it screamed sequel. It felt like a sequel.
Yeah.
It feels like, you know, everything that was wrong with sequels in the 80s and 90s to me personally. Now, again, it's the best of those though, right? Like even of all of them, it's still one of the best of those. So you can't knock it for that. But I think, Rennie Harlan was a big step down.
Big hack.
Yeah. And he went from Nightmare on Elm Street 4 to, I don't remember what he did between that and this. And then this, and then he went from, he made a few better films afterwards.
Yeah.
But like, to me, I think he was in a little bit over his head with this film, I would say.
Well, he did have the Guinness World Record for the largest box office loss at one point, apparently.
For Cutthroat Island, yeah.
Wow.
He went downhill rapidly.
Well, that should have been a porno.
I don't want to take away from him. Nightmare 4 was very visually, interesting. And I never want to take away from him things like Long Kiss Goodnight and a few other movies he's made. I mean, he is a decent
I like that movie.
He is a decent action director, but like at the point where he was in his career, I feel like Die Hard 2 was way beyond his
pay grade
skill set.
No, I hear you, Tom. No, did you know that originally McTiernan was supposed to be on for this movie, but the only reason he didn't is because he had already had a previous engagement to do The Hunt for Red October, which obviously did very well at the box office.
Yeah.
And they obviously got Rennie Harlan. Now, even though Bruce Willis is not overall a fan of this film looking back, he did enjoy his time working with Rennie Harlan. So he does think very fondly of it. As far as on the working, professionalism level, he did enjoy working with Rennie despite how this movie turned out. So funny how that happens.
That's one of the movies I still think if you go back, update Hunt for Red October, because there's not many scenes where they're showing the submarines, but if you did that and did a re-release, it would do massive at the box office.
Oh yeah,
like it is such a tight movie. It's so good.
Yeah.
Just update a couple of the things.
Well, I mean, this movie did do very well at the box office. It made 240 million. So
yeah,
I mean,
it did very good.
It opened on July 4th weekend. Trying to think, was there even really that?
Yeah, but it's weird. It was a Christmas movie.
The same thing with the first and third one too.
Right.
Well, you know, back in the day, they had to make sure you had the VHS on sale for Christmas.
That's true. Yeah.
Except they didn't get the VHS.
This is how they treat your luggage.
They didn't get the VHS out till February of '91. So
I was going to say it was such a big movie that I think they did a small re-release.
Who the hell is that helping?
And it was the biggest seller of its day for video, for VHS.
Wow. Yeah, you know how many guys came home and were like, "Hey, honey, I know it's Valentine's Day, but you want to watch a movie and make some popcorn?"
Yeah, it's a movie about a man who really loves his wife.
It's a good one. It's got Bruce
Man
Willis.
that
You like
loves
him?
his wife.
Yeah, it's a love story.
Yeah, but Matt
So the
looks
girl
like
working-
about that. Don't talk bad, that we're not. We don't.
Hey,
Well, it was up against. It was up against like Days of Thunder in its second or third week. Dick Tracy in its second week.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that!
Arachnophobia was. Oh, no, it hasn't come out yet.
If your girlfriend doesn't like Die Hard, it's time for a breakup. Okay,
Total-
let's be
Total
honest.
Recall.
No,
okay,
you're right,
so
Eddie.
this is when Gremlins 2 and RoboCop 2 flopped up against this shit. So like, yeah, that's probably another reason why I was pissy about it.
Well,
like,
is that the real reason why Gremlins 2 flopped?
That was an excellent.
I would rather accept that than the movie being shitty because the movie, as far as I know, like most people enjoy the film, and me, I'm one of those who like argues that movie up and down. But like,
It is in the movie.
Gremlins 2?
I like Gremlins
Yeah.
too. You don't like Gremlins too?
Okay, I gotta go like see it again because I just remember it being a mess.
Gremlins 2 was hilarious because
Yeah.
they wanted to make a Gremlins 2 forever, and then they couldn't get anything going. And Joe Dante's like, "All right, I'll do it, but you gotta let me do whatever the fuck I want."
It's a fun
And
movie.
he
Crazy
did whatever
movie.
the fuck he wanted, and it is batshit crazy. You're right about
Yes,
that, but
it
it's
is.
hilarious.
Yeah, okay, I gotta go check that out again.
It is basically making fun of the first film, is all
True.
it is.
Oh, it's a nutty one.
Which is kind of the point of the first one, anyways. It's a little.
Well, the first one's making fun of like Christmas movies mixed with like pod people movies from the, and Twilight Zone kind of stories. The second film is just completely twisting itself on itself. Like it's just making fun of all the rules, making fun of the Gremlins in general, and then just it's like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah, and not only did it have Christopher Lee, but like he camped it up so much.
Oh, rabies. I've got rabies.
Every time someone would sneeze, he would take their tissue and like put it in his pocket and walk away like a.
I'm supposed to get the flu this week. They say it's on back order. Back.
No, it's
All
interesting.
of
Someone
man
just,
wants some fresh diseases.
you guys mentioned 3 sequels that summer, all maybe inferior to their original, but I still kind of like them. I like RoboCop 2.
Yeah,
Okay, Gremlins
I do too. Gremlins 2
Yeah,
is the only
and
one I
this
would say is not inferior, but like, yeah, I agree with you.
Or- Yeah, I'm with you there. I like Gremlins too, but in other words, 3 sequels that I still liked, even though they may not have been as well received.
Yeah,
as
no, I
the
think
original.
RoboCop 2 is really shit on quite a bit actually. But
Yeah,
Total Recall
I
was
like it.
also out at this time. Another
Yeah.
48 Hours was another
Yeah,
sequel out this
1990.
time.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, RoboCop 2, you can see when the Miller's elements of a
Frank
story
Miller's
were in there.
story.
That was really good. You could see where they messed with the story. And
Yeah, I agree. If anybody goes back and you want to check out what RoboCop 2 and 3 were really meant to be, get Frank Miller's graphic novel. It tells what the story
I actually never
was
read
originally supposed
that.
to be. Yeah.
Yes,
Hot dog. Awesome.
and he put himself in the movie.
He
Yeah.
put himself in the movie.
He's in
Awesome.
there.
Do you got anything else you wanted to add, Tom? That was awesome.
No, I just wanted everybody to kind of get an idea of what else was out at this time. It was 90 was an interesting year. So
Mm-hmm.
No, badass insights, dude. Thank you. All right, before we carry on over, Thanos has some work to do real quick. So if you guys in the chat won't mind.
puny human.
Deleted scenes for $3.99 says, "Hail Nick D." Nick, Mark D, 70s Brutal, Clubby, Jesse, Tom, YetiCast, Mad when he gets there. Mods and chat. Die Hard 2 may not be the best one. I change a few things, but spending the 4th of July with my pals watching it was good enough for me. So see that is mad.
Well, and the
right
beauty
there.
of it in retrospect with the 2 newer sequels, yeah,
Oh,
there's just leaps and bounds.
This is Shakespeare compared to that shit.
Yeah, but they did a special
big
category
mistake
for
was
that.
pitting in that scrawny kid, that annoying scrawny kid. Who the fuck
Jai
is that
Courtney?
asshole?
No,
I don't know. He's
you mean
computer kid?
Oh,
I don't know. I thought that
Justin Long.
Justin Long. Yeah.
I don't know.
Bruce
Live
Willis
Free,
should have let that car crush that kid.
Live Free was still better than that last one, and he. Oh
God,
the last one was awful. Yeah.
Oh, that was
I actually
the
stopped
worst.
that
watching
helicopter thing. Jeez.
The irony of it
They,
all.
they just can't figure out putting him on a cruise ship. I don't know.
The irony of it all, which is funny because that'll get us back to this film, is each one of the Die Hard sequels was not a Die Hard movie to begin with.
Yeah.
The only one that was the one where they went to Russia, and it was the one that kept getting rejected for years.
Quite right.
And quite right so. But every one of the sequels, including this one, are based on a completely different story that were not Die Hard related.
Yeah,
this is based on a novel called 58 Minutes.
58 minutes.
Well, and the thing that all the sequels forgot is it's just a normal guy. That's why it works. He's not a superhero. He's not supposed to be, sending cars into helicopters or, doing all those crazy things. Like,
and that's kind of my problem with this one, Yeti. He gets a little too superhero in this.
That's the issue I have with this.
Like this fall right here.
Yeah, he's more Rambo than he is John McClane.
I don't care. I love it.
They didn't fall that far on this one, though.
No, this one is still a lot of fun, especially compared to the later ones.
Doing a somersault off of.
For instance, like the real John McClane, if he'd have saw this shit, he wouldn't have went in and investigated right away. He would have tried to go get one of the security guards, and when the security guard would have been like, "I don't give a shit," then he would have went and got done.
He did go to the cops, and then it turned out. But then it turned out to be that same cop that gave him the ticket, so he said, "Screw it," and he went to himself. So.
And I call bullshit on that scene. Any cop is not going to give another cop a ticket because that family, they're cops. And
not only that,
whenever I'm with them,
he had local plates too. Yeah.
The badge comes out, and you're not getting a ticket.
But that was Harvey Bullitt. It was Harvey Bullitt that gave him the ticket, though.
And they all forget the brilliance of constraining the character by removing his shoes. That. Okay, that's something you don't see, but it's such a pivotal thing in the movie.
Fistless your toes.
God, there's so much that goes into the character in the movie just by taking away shoes.
Shoot the glass.
That's why I think he's more
Especially walking on
Rambo
glass
than anything.
Yeah,
he got fucked up in that scene. His feet were fucking done.
Yeah, I mean, he takes on 2 guys here that are like twice his size.
Yeah,
for one.
It's too Rambo.
Are you saying he pulled a Hawkeye, Kate Bishop?
Yeah, but he got his ass handed to him by both of them, though. He really very lucked out of it.
Did.
You know what, though? My problem with this while we were watching it, because I watched it the other day while I was trimming my tree, because it's tradition to me. But, it's my tree trimming movie, because I've seen it so many times, but it's always awesome.
Yeah.
My problem was that the 2 guys, these guys are professionals right here that he just went in on. There's no way they would have separated one of them climbing up and disappeaaring for 2.5 minutes while the other one was having a gunfight. No fucking way. They were running a movement if they were doing that. That guy would have been on his ass.
He was on his union break.
He's not smoking a cigarette.
And also, if you want to get picky, they did just start shooting at him. They could have said, "Oh, come over there and kind of talk to him a little bit, and then maybe attack them when they were closer."
Far more realistic.
Yeah, but
unsuspecting bullets are scarier.
Right. There's no realism in this movie, so you can't.
I was wondering, do you guys think that thing would have really crushed that guy?
It might not have felt too good.
I love
depends
the brutality of this movie, and I know once again when they originally pitched it to what was it, 20th Century Fox? Hold on, no, it wasn't 20th Century Fox. Who was the studio at the time? They pitched it and they originally gave it an NC-17 rating, which way back when at the time that was a big no. You couldn't do that. You couldn't
did they cut out some goodness?
They cut out a lot of the violence because this movie was very insanely over the top violence. And yes, Dragon Master, I got the bot. I saw that shit and I took care of business. Ada Flynn is fucking out of here. So
that's a new kind of bot.
Thank you though. So
the sneaky bot.
I mean, sneaky bots they got now.
Yeah.
It wins just because of the icicle.
Oh, I love that, dude. Dude, that shit is brutal as fuck, man, with the icicle, like levels it right in the eye. You're like, bro, there's some damage there. But I'll save my violence and my thoughts on the wonderful violence and carnage, because I think we got a Dustin here in the 70s that want to talk about Die Hard 2, and then we'll go over this movie as it scrolls along. Dustin, talk away.
So this movie for me was always kind of like third for me.
Okay.
So, because I remember seeing like the first Die Hard movie, then I saw Die Hard with a Vengeance, and then I went back and saw this one. And when I did, I just, I remember going back and seeing this, and just it felt so campy. And I might be, one of the only.
No, I agree 100% with you. I think that's kind of my other issue with it, is it doesn't feel as serious as the first and third one.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of. I mean, it.
The plane was NSA, National Security Agency.
There was a lot of things about this movie that drove me nuts, but
weird.
Huh? It was what?
The plane said NSA, National Security Agency.
Yeah.
They didn't make that back in the day, so that's just weird.
Yeah, because I don't even think anybody knew who the NSA was in the 90s.
No such agency. Yeah,
Exactly.
you weren't allowed to know that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't seen this one a whole bunch. I just went back and watched it today again, and I mean, this time watching it through, it wasn't as bad for me. But there's like little things like I want to go back and be able to like smoke on a plane. I don't even smoke anymore, but I want to be able to smoke on a plane, smoke in random places. Yeah, I mean, I want to be able to. I want to like be able to have a gun in DC. Little things like that you can't do now.
I just want to be able to be on a plane with a little bit of leg room. I would settle for that.
That's the most unrealistic thing in the movie, because they've got way too much space between them and the seat in front.
They had more room back then.
Well, they had some place to put the cameras for the opposite shot.
Yeah, and I mean too, and like that phone call that she had with John, that would have been like what, like $1,000 phone call?
Yeah.
Calling from an airplane.
Well, they both got money. She has a high-ranking job, and obviously
He's a cop.
John McClane's a cop.
He did
got money,
but I don't think it was 1,000. But yeah, I mean,
it was expensive. Yeah.
Was it pretty expensive back then? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like $10 a call kind of thing, or $20 a call. But yeah, I mean, you had to run your credit card through.
Yeah,
you weren't wasting time on the phone call. Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. McClane had a good job. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. And then
like I
don't know if anybody ever noticed it, but
she obviously had a good job. She was one of the only people left at the Taka building. They had to have somebody get promoted into all those positions of like, she's running
Nakatomi now.
I guarantee she's a CEO. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ellis got shot in the forehead. I mean,
but doesn't that go to show strong women representation?
Okay.
When it actually mattered,
Well, look at the grandma on the plane next to her with the taser, right?
Yeah.
Like, how'd that get through airport security? But I love
what airport security.
Hey guys, look at this thing here from our excellent RC from the NYC here in the chat. Says, here's something. Die Hard 2 shares the same universe with two other action movies, Commando and Predator.
3, actually.
Ooh.
Or 4.
3.
4. Lethal Weapon.
Because Lethal Weapon's in it, yeah.
And the third one.
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon was on the magazine. It was holding.
There's another one. Remember the Denzel Washington film called Ricochet?
Oh my God! Wow.
The actress who was Robert Zemeckis' wife, who passed not too long ago, she was in the first. She plays a news anchor called Gail Wallens in the first Die Hard film. Where she plays the news anchor by the same name in Ricochet.
Ah, good catch, Clobby.
Wow.
That's the girl on the.
We could definitely use more of her.
Yes.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
No more her. No.
It's an Die Hard expanded universe, buddy. No, sorry.
Die Hard expanded universe.
What are you saying? No.
It's the multiverse.
Yeah, it's a multiverse.
Sorry, I guess I mistook you for Mad for a second.
Yeah.
He doesn't want attractive women
Don't
there.
Have a film coming out next week called Die Hard Far From Home or No Way Home or something?
Well, wait till Matt sees the girl at the rental car agency. God, that's asking Bruce Willis out.
Yeah, just the facts, man.
Just the facts, man. Yeah. And he misses the button there. Look, he calls security.
He's a super nice guy because he could have banged her in the bathroom.
Totally could have, but he has the ring and he's a man of commitment.
Yeah, the version from 3 would have, but in this one, no, he's John McClane. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of like how like he's not the man from like the third movie, like how does he get to be like? How does he get to be from where he's at in this movie to 3?
We'll never know.
All right. Before we carry on, I see RC wrote here. All 3 movies involve the island of Valverde. Oh yeah, shit, dude, you're right.
Thank you.
He's right. Thank you for that.
Good catch.
I remember that.
Good catch.
Shit, I remember that from her. But RC also sent me $7.50. Said yippee ki and Mag sent me $2 just because. Thank you, RC, and thank you, Mags. I appreciate that. Let's carry on with the show. 70s. Why don't you talk about Die Hard 2?
Die Hard Deuce. Die Hardest there. Die Hardiester. Die Hardestest. Die Hardish. This is I've run out now. This is actually one of the few movies we've done that I've never seen in the cinema.
Oh.
And that's because I was working in a country in the Middle East at the time that didn't have cinemas.
Mhm.
So I did not see this until it came out in VHS in 1991. And then my view is that this is a pretty good action movie, but not such a good Die Hard movie.
Oh.
I found immediately I was struck by the very different tone that it
I
had.
like that. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That
Carry
makes-
on, 70s.
Yeah, it's a very different tone. There's a lot less humor. I mean, there's a lot less humor. McClane has a lot less humor. In fact, Bonnie Bedelia's got some of the funniest lines. God, thank God Mads isn't here. That's Mads not here. McClane really doesn't come across that sympathetically to me. In fact, Mrs. Rock fan, when we were watching it the other day, said, he seems like a bit of a twat in this one. He's a bit of a jerk. And maybe I wouldn't go that far, but to me, he's just much more of a straightforward action hero. He's a bit Rambo-ish and a bit less John McClane-ish.
Weird.
And I did seem like there's some
fantastic... not that sarcastic undertone, like talking to himself.
He's much more action man.
There was some of it there.
Yeah, some, but not to the same extent.
Yeah. That's why I love him more.
He's not isolated. He's not
especially
isolated.
when he's doing the back and forth with Samuel Jackson. That feels the most John McClane.
That's Die Hard.
Well, he didn't really have a guy like that to bounce off of like he did in this one.
Not really. I mean, you had what's his face Thompson, and you had Dennis Franz's character, but like they weren't nearly the same. And he had that little
Barnes,
janitor guy, but
no one on a constant basis, like he said, sort of like Al, and then later even more so Zeus.
And the proof is in the pudding. How often do you go around quoting lines from Die Hard 2? Not very often.
The one that we quote the most is, how can the same shit happen to the same guy twice?
Yeah. But even that it seems kind of formulaic. But I liked a review that I read that said that it's full of insane bloodlust, gratuitous profanity, and zero logic. Mind you, I'm not saying that was a bad review or a good review. It could have been either. But
you just described RoboCop.
That's right. Yeah, you didn't describe Die Hard. And I had a little bit of a problem with some of the sadistic. There was a little bit of sadism in this.
Yeah, I can see that.
The bad guys, like when they shoot the caretaker in the church, that was totally unnecessary. And those guys, if they were true,
terrible.
Yeah,
it was cold-blooded.
There was no need for that.
No need.
The villains in 1 and 3 are not. They were not sadistic. Maybe 1 or 2 of them were a little bit, but they tried not to do things like that. Generally speaking, these guys were like, we're just going to kill anyone.
That was horrific.
Well, there's a fax machine, everyone. If you
and basically, isn't that another thing that the film is missing from the other Die Hard films? Is that the plot is basically what the villains are after, right? Like, there's no major because there was that there's that convoluted shit with the. Where they have what is it they're stealing? I can't remember because they're not really
bearer bonds. Yeah, and
it's not nearly as cool as the first.
Everything's a fake in the first and third. Yeah. Whereas this is we know what they want. They tell you what they want. They want the Esperanza or whatever. Yeah.
Well, and John McClane doesn't have as much of a goal. Like in the first one, he was there to get back to his wife.
The only fake out is those cops.
Yeah, now we've got to figure out.
He's trying to save his wife in this
so they can land.
He's trying to save his wife in this one too.
Okay.
So just one more thing that I have a big problem with is that jet fuel does not burn that easily. It's got a much you just light it. It's got a much higher flash point than gasoline and indeed diesel. And it certainly can't melt steel.
What is it?
Well, that could be a conspiracy theory, of course. But...
What's the
truther?
Oops.
What's the temperature? What's the
Anyway,
flame point? The flash point, whatever.
It's a higher flashback because it's a cheaper fuel. It's cheaper. It's safer to transport in bulk.
Because gasoline, is something fucking crazy. Like
jet fuel is
40
cheap.
degrees, it should still light to some point.
Jet fuel is so highly refined.
134, I think, or 140.
Well, it's not. It's a more economical, cheaper form of gasoline. To be honest, it's actually bulk. In fact, it's bulk gasoline. And you could throw a lighted match and a tray of jet fuel, nothing would happen. So
something seems like because if it was cheaper, then the cars would be running on it. Because it's so highly refined.
Yeah, but it's a don't forget it's a turbine engine.
Oh, here's Twinkie.
I don't want to get into the engine.
Here's our guy.
Come on, engine, but
jump for the Twinkie guy.
A turbine can run on basically anything. So it's you're dumping fuel and you're burning it. And you've got a fan that's exciting the fuel. If it's not the same kind of thing. An internal combustion engine, you've got a piston. You've got the spark plug that's igniting the fuel. So gas has a higher ignition point than so it wouldn't work. Jet fuel would not work in a same like a diesel engine. But I'm
not claiming I'm an expert. But
oh my God, we forgot another universe it ties into. We forgot one, Nick.
Oh, what is it, Clobberin?
The TV series Chuck. This guy Al Powell was on it as the character of Al Powell once.
And Chuck.
Wow.
On Chuck, yes.
I love Chuck
too.
You could potentially tie it to Band of Brothers because Dennis Franz was in the real 101st Airborne, albeit in Vietnam.
So we have the Die Hard cinematic universe, and it shows. So this movie was good at that one thing, setting up a cinematic universe that never was.
Okay, I got a science explanation for the jet fuel thing.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, okay. Please, let's hear it.
The ignition point isn't that high. It's negative 43 degrees to 100 degrees is your light. Anything above that. The problem is it doesn't give off vapor. That's why it doesn't light.
Yeah.
So they have to spray it.
It's got to be sprayed.
In order for it to light on fire.
Oh, well,
fucking weird.
She totally wants John. I saw the look on her eyes. She totally was just like John McClane.
She's a weird-looking woman too.
We could explain that last.
She doesn't look cute to be on TV. You know what I mean? Like
she definitely sucked her way to the top. That's for sure.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but jet fuel's like $1.82 a gallon.
Like, I'm willing to bet she even sucked the director to get this role. Like, I don't understand who she is or what she's doing here as far
she's
as
a random reporter that's not there for any reason.
I could believe if she was a journalist, but she's supposed to be a TV reporter and no.
Yeah, she's a TV girl.
In the 90s, we were way too vain for that shit.
She looks like a librarian.
I want his
exactly. Sweater. Yeah, like there's no way she'd have been on fucking television in the 90s.
I mean, I could have sworn it was Toxic Tuesday.
1 in a million, Handy McRandy. 1 in a million.
Handy
there were some that worked for CNN that were pretty bad.
You could count your chances on the fingers of one hand, Handy. So.
All right. So
I will say though,
go ahead.
I was just going to say the supporting cast is what does make this movie. I mean, you got these three guys here, kind of in the tower doing their thing.
Oh, and Franz is such a prick.
Yeah, he is.
But you were going to say
Carmine.
Oh my God! No, here's the thing. I knew I hate the first time I saw this movie, way back. I remember immediately hating that cop. But obviously, that's when he's doing a good job because you hate him because you're already on John McClane's side because you're invested in him. Who's this guy trying to tell McClane what's up when we know McClane's doing? But that's for me a sign of good acting. Of course, I actually feel like Sandler is underrated as Stewart. I actually feel like he's very physically
great.
Imposing. He whooped the crap on McClane at times. He really, and on top of it, that scene where the first plane took the dive. Can you imagine if you're someone who has a fear of flying, and that's the scene that's kind of put here that can mess with your head? That really, I feel like for me that really escalated the stakes of this movie.
So are you saying this movie never played in an airplane?
Possibly.
My wife that about him. He was so cruel in the way he did it too, because he did it. He gave it almost horrible. Like a flippant comment.
Oh shit!
Just crash one of the planes, but then he was make sure it's one of the ones that's
true.
He fuel.
Did. Yes,
and it just shows that
right.
Cares more about the math.
Colm Meaney proves he's a really bled flight engineer He's a bad flight engineer.
And I'm surprised some of the people aren't pointing out some of the sequelitis that this movie has.
Yes.
Okay, like you've got these guys where he's right in the middle of everything, as opposed to the first movie where he's out of the mix, right? So they're doing that as an opposite. Then you have Dennis Franz's character, and this is what made me think of this and why I brought it up, because he is basically anti-Powell. He is working against McClane through the entire fucking movie, but then he has the same exact turn at the end.
Yeah, he's from the first film. Remember Dwayne T. Robinson? Basically, he's the cop, Powell's boss, who's giving McClane flack in the first film.
Pretty much, but then at the end, he's the guy who ends up saving McClane.
At least he's won over at the end.
Yeah. Okay, you know what I liked is since RC brought up earlier, but I had to add to the scene because he saw McClane kill the Terminator, Robert Patrick's in the movie. What makes it great is it's like they killed his character off on purpose early, so he's like, "Hey, this guy, we gotta kill him off now because he's gotta go film T2." So they killed him off right away. Like, we gotta kill you now, dude, because you got that other movie. Oh, and another funny thing when I watched this way back, and it's something that stuck on me. John Leguizamo. He was in this movie, and his I don't know why his role was decreased in this movie. You ready for it?
Because he's an idiot.
Because he lacked height. I'm not joking. It's because he lacked height. He actually lacked height. That's why they
Nick, are you saying they practiced a form of apartheid?
I figured it was because his little ass was trying to improvise or something. They're like, no,
they literally. What I do respect, and maybe this helps too.
Like, wouldn't it be funny in this scene I did this?
Tom Cruise had the step ladder that day, so
Tom Cruise has step ladder. What I do like that scene. You guys know that scene where McClane's going through that tunnel to get to like where the planes land.
Yes,
and then that plane's about to land. That one scene there was shot in 7 or 8 different locations.
Wow.
Yeah, they did a lot in Denver. They did it at that airport.
Yeah, in Michigan as well, California. There's a few different California locations. So and I gotta give him credit for pulling up because it gives you, I guess, the idea or the illusion of it being shot in one area, but it's really done in several different states. Like, I thought that was really cool. That for that, and I love how insanely crazy you got. What's his face? That the one dude who slit the guy's throat on the bus. He had an icicle in the eye, and then he also had what's his face after he tries to get McClane off the plane. Not Stewart, but the military guy.
John Amos.
John Amos. He just flies through that airplane and he just gets shredded. They're like, oh man, this movie was all brutal. About the brutality with this one. I was like, bro, this is crazy. And I could see why, like, the studio's just like, hey, we gotta tone this down. Like, it's almost like a gore fest at times. And yeah, you could say John McClane does get too action hero-y. I could say, he does, but dude, it's just so fun.
Well, he needs to kill all the terrorists, and it has to be very entertaining.
It does. It's got to look beautiful.
Let him do it.
I like the beginning of this movie where he picks out that the guys are up to no good in the airport. He's using his brains against. That's the one thing McClane always notices. That cop instinct. So I like that. And then of course you got to have the cop that's in charge as being the a-hole, and he's got Franz's character's got the line like, you'd be surprised at how much I make, and then you're laughing because probably gets paid a ton of overtime and typical bureaucrat. But in the end, his character flips around. You got Fred Thompson, who's got a great presence as a controller there, and he later became a U.S. senator. So he's he's a good actor. Yeah, so you've got good actors surrounding everyone. But it's just there's some parts that you're like, sequelitis, and it's he's passed away. But it's there's some ridiculous things like the ejection with the that scene with the grenades, and Bruce Willis I guess knows how to ride a snowmobile expertly, and and then the scene where he pulls the gun out on Franz at the end and fires, and like no one else takes a shot. He would never do that. I mean,
Oh yeah,
one of the other cops would have shot him.
Somebody would have shot him.
There are some good, though, genuinely good character scenes that I love. I mean, because I do like this movie a lot, and I think McClane is great in it, especially after he tries to save the first crash plane and fails. That's a really powerful, dramatic scene. I think that's a great scene in the film that really hits you home.
But let's be real here.
I love that scene.
The moment that would have happened, McClane would have been out of the equation. Like, you would have had national security and everybody down there right away. Like, it wouldn't have been like them leaving McClane to deal with all this shit.
Yep,
well, they did show up.
Well, there's still be time delay.
Wait a minute. The army did show up, though, and they were there.
Yeah, but more than that would have turned up.
Like more than that. Yeah,
maybe.
Not just one highly sus fucking.
It would have been a million.
Exactly.
One emergency, one platoon. Now they should have. You'd think if you're gonna go for realism, yes, you should actually shut down the whole airport. Actually, is what you should do.
Yeah, I would have went completely differently if it was real. Right. Even then, prior to 9/11, it still would have went completely. I mean, but again, that would have
Die Hard movie. I mean, I can't find any realism.
Yeah, because terrorism, as I was saying before, was a real big issue in the airports in the late 80s, early 90s. So people were really sensitive
shut the whole thing down, probably.
But of course, the movie doesn't work if you do that. But I love when he's climbing the elevator. He's like, I'm used to this. Or the other scene later, he's like, the first always have to be tight spots. Why can't I?
The second I get into any elevator, I make sure I know where the escape hatch.
The basement of the elevator. Yeah.
And see, that's where I do credit this movie, because there are elements of it that, once again, that can mess with it. As I said earlier, like that when you see that plane take the fall and you think, and they're saying, oh, you're fine. And they're like, oh crap, we're not. And they all afraid that plane gets toasted. Like, oh crap, like Stewart's nuts. The dude is absolutely crazy. And I feel like he doesn't get credit for his role as a great villain. Don't get me wrong, obviously Hans Gruber is timeless, and of course Jeremy Irons as Simon is great because it's Hans Gruber's brother avenging the death. But Sadler is just mean. Yeah. And at times I actually mistaked him for Robert Patrick at times from a certain angle.
Well, the beauty of Sadler is he's got such a range, right? Like he can play comedy, he can play villain, he can play dramatic, he's great and all, so he's a very that's the thing I kept saying is like the one main positive I can say about this film is the supporting cast, right? Like everybody's spot on. Like there's not a badly casted role in this entire film, even though they cut John Leguizamo out. It's probably to the film's look at this. He even got what's his face here from Star Trek.
Oh, Star Trek guy.
Ryan couldn't save him.
Colm Meaney's a terrible flight engineer in this one.
Yes, he is. That's two Die Hard ripoffs he appeared in, Die Hard 2 and Under Siege.
Because the altimeter, anyone a pilot out here, but wouldn't the altimeter let them know what their height is, even though they're finding
that's exactly what that's the thing that they set to a different amount.
Yeah, but they don't just rely on ILS. They've got their own altimeters. They don't.
I've flown an aircraft on Flight Simulator. But that's about it. But
there's a number of issues like that.
The other thing is they're in Washington. Like there is no other airports within a vicinity that are within. Like I can't buy that either.
Well, Reagan's not that close to Dulles. Just kidding, but I'm bummed.
You would still think in any large city they would see the city lights and have a general idea of how fucking high up they are.
Yeah, because isn't Baltimore not far? Doesn't Baltimore have a?
I was going to say, it depends on conditions. You can have total
bunch of airports. It's a very crowded area of the country.
Yeah.
The conditions are pretty bad.
Tom Bauer.
Yeah, there's total whiteouts, where you can't see a thing.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
No, but you got plenty of other instruments. But ILS, it works. It's like a radio beacon. It's old technology, but you set you fly down like you're following a radio beacon, kind of like.
Wasn't that kind of what they have him turn on here anyway?
Yeah, you're flying. It's like think of like a flashlight, but there's also tons of other systems on an aircraft.
Yeah, they don't just rely on that.
Yeah, ILS is kind of like a glide scope. So you're on your ILS approach and you follow that radio beacon in.
There's a guy from
it's a
Fright
brilliant
Night.
system. But yeah, but that's all this nitpicking geek nerd stuff.
Yeah.
But,
Man, look,
know.
You're just making me ask more questions.
You almost can't enjoy any action movie when you do that. So
Yeah, I know. Guilty
Now,
as
in the
charged,
Bermuda
yeah.
Triangle, supposedly there's methane gas pockets that pop up from underneath the ocean. They go up into the air, and then when a plane flies through that, it makes them think that fucks with the altimeter, so they dive down thinking they're going up.
Isn't that what's also supposed to suck in the the boats?
Yes,
because it like changes the pressure. It just like sucks them down.
Well,
I thought it was a kaiju.
Said a ball of air like that
It's the
could just rip a
kaiju.
ship in half, but it would have to be like throwing a dart at a fucking aspirin in the middle of a football field.
This whole sequence was great though.
Sitting
I did enjoy this sequence.
Oh, here he is. Here's
Terminator.
There's the T-1000.
Wolfie's fine, honey.
You seen this boy?
I gotta die, guys. Kill me now so I can get on with my next movie. Come on, let's kill me now.
Come on, do it.
Kill me.
Do it,
I'm
kill me.
here. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
I promised you would kill me last.
I was quite
lied.
pleased that the SWAT guys here did kill a few of the bad guys. Normally in a movie, these guys would be wiped out without, but they did kill 2 or 3 of the bad guys. So
Yeah,
they put up a good show,
I know this is slightly off topic.
The McLean got them all.
Go on, Yeti.
Them all, yeah.
Okay, I know this is slightly off topic, but isn't it so impressive when you look at his performance in T2 when he's doing the running scenes and he's like not sweating, he's not breathing heavy? Like that would be intense because he's running hard.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
talking
about that scene where he's running after the bike in the parking garage. I don't know if it was on one of these chats or whatever, but I heard it was information I saw that they had to slow down because he kept catching the bike.
Really? Fuck that.
Yeah, like when they were filming the scene, he was too fast. He kept
because he was full out sprinting. Like
dude,
it is so
juking.
impressive what he did there.
You're
right.
My
He God,
was juking. Like man, he looked like he was running from a cop or something in that movie.
with that face too, like the deadpan face, not breathing. Like that is impressive. That is straight up impressive.
The second film is that the second film is more of what Cameron originally wanted it to be, because the Terminator wasn't meant to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was meant to be a character like Robert Patrick, like you didn't suspect him, because originally Lance Henriksen was cast as a Terminator. But then as soon as Arnold Schwarzenegger got involved, well, that changed the game. But no, like that's the whole point of why he cast Robert Patrick is because he looks like a cop.
Yeah.
So you just assume he's a cop,
Still, like the amount, how good of shape he has to be in to pull that off is like he does not get enough credit for that.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
That film is how it got out early that Arnold was playing a good guy. Because if you watch that movie, it was never meant to be that way. You're supposed to see that movie thinking Arnold's still the bad guy until that one moment, right? Because they play Robert Patrick like a good guy until the moment where he turns and he's going to kill John. That's when you're like, oh shit! Like if you didn't know that going in, that's the reaction you're supposed to have. But it leaked out early that Arnold was playing a good guy.
Hot damn.
Because the original trailer didn't show you shit. All it showed you was the machines being made and the Terminator turning on, and he said, I told you I'd be back, or something like that, basically, and that was it.
Well, when I first saw it, I didn't know about any of those leaks, so I went in like thinking exactly that. And that's what made an even bigger impression. You're like, oh my god, he's not the bad guy,
Because you don't even know he's a robot until that first time he gets hit, and then you're like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude.
Well,
but of course they had to show all that shit in the
too much
trailer.
Stuff.
Yeah,
I hate it when trailers like give me a 30-second trailer, with just kind of like a few things and not the whole damn movie.
Try to keep as early of them. For me, ideally speaking, I like it when you try, if you can, then you can pull off footage from earlier on in the movie, so that way, like I feel like the reveals and all the the climax, all the awesome shining moments towards the end actually feel like genuinely special and like a big surprise. Because when you have like a lot of good comedy trailers are really notorious for giving away good funny lines that don't feel anywhere as funny because you saw it in theaters and you already laughed it out of your system. So like, that would have landed.
What I hate
so
worse
well
is when it's cut better in the trailer, like the timing of the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works better. Yeah. Or like,
But that's one of the reasons why I try to avoid watching trailers as much as possible, because it takes away too much.
Yeah, no, it does. And Brian Bartier's got a question. Wasn't Michael Biehn supposed to be the T-1000? I don't recall that. Do you know anything about that?
No,
Tom?
not that I know of.
Yeah, that's news to me. But you learn something new every day.
Yeah, it's like the only good line in the Force Awakens was, Chewie, we're home, and they ruined that in the trailer, right? I wanted to see that in the movie.
Because doesn't he already have the dream sequence? So he would already been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God, look at these guys. Look at him. He's got a weapon. He's like, all these crazies.
Did we already pass that neck slit scene? Because that gets me every single time.
We don't. We're
no, I don't think we've seen the neck slit or the icicle yet.
We're not. No, we're not that far because we're still.
The icicle though is hands down probably the best kill.
Oh no, but there's just something about that neck slit. To this day, watching it gets me. It's just like it's hard to watch.
Well, plus it's just dessert because that's the guy that killed the old man, so he deserved it. A little piece of crap. Yeah.
Well, no, but he was double crossed by his own guys like that. I felt bad for him.
I'm talking about the guy. No, I'm talking about the guy who McClane killed with the icicle.
You're thinking of the guy in the van. You're thinking of the guy in the van.
I know. I'm thinking about the guy that McClane killed with the icicle.
Yeah.
The guy that killed the old man.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at his face. Like, ooh, you like that?
And even McClane looks at the guy once he does that. It's like, oh, this is gross. Like he reacts pretty badly. He didn't like gloat over it either. It's like, oh, that's gross.
Well, you guys keep talking about him jumping from this to Terminator. Looking at him here, he had to have gone to the gym right after this movie. Now that I'm thinking about it, because he looks like a thin little baby in this movie, and it's only a year later that he's in Terminator, and he looks jacked and like 10 years older.
In season 10 of
1 year would do that. Like you could get super jacked in a year.
Because like his jawline is much wider in Terminator 2.
Oh my god, you're right. Like it's like a perfect almost like two prints, like something you see in like a cartoon, like where like characters like in Batman the Animated Series where they have like that perfect jaw. Yeah, Robert Patrick totally has that.
That's why the action figure was so good. He looked like a fucking crazy robot cop.
Like, could there be a better like cast than him as that second Terminator?
At the time, I didn't even know who the hell he was.
I'm surprised they never utilized him for horror movies.
Yeah. He was in God, what was that one he was in? He was in one, but I can't think of the name of it now.
I do not know. Thank you for subscribing, Mr. Tom Coleman. Appreciate that.
Because he was on that one with that Stephen King one too. But that's not a horror movie, really. Wasn't he in the Green Mile?
Who was in
not Green Mile. He was in.
You talking about Patrick?
No, that was William Patrick that was in Shawshank. But I thought
Sadler wasn't he?
William Sadler was, yeah. But
Sadler,
yeah, maybe I'm thinking of him instead. But maybe didn't Robert Patrick do one here not too long ago? Like a Stephen King one?
Did he? I didn't know
the 19 whatever one, the one that was named after a year or whatever. I can't remember what the hell it was.
It sounds right. But I can't place
it. 1964 or something like that it was called. I can't remember, but it was like shit. Somebody in the chat will probably know what I'm talking about.
Someone
will Google it.
I want to mention because Yeti mentioned earlier with the slitting. I think especially when you realize that guy's in on it with everyone else. I feel like between that and how brutal, like, oh crap, that guy know he just did the slip, but he's in on it with these guys at first because when you first see him in the movie, you think, oh, this guy's totally McClane. He's calling out the other cop for being a total bureaucrat. He's on sides with the right guy, and then you learn, oh shit.
Yeah, he was in The Faculty. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
The 1922 is the movie I'm thinking of, but now I'm wondering if that was William Sadler in that one too.
He's got quite a resume
on here for that.
And now I'm realizing how much him and William Sadler kind of remind me of each other.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget he was on X-Files for a while too.
Oh, that's true. He took over
season and a half.
Yeah,
kind of a horror. Yep.
That's true.
How has he not been in like an Aliens movie? Because he would fit perfect as a character in there.
Yeah, he would. He's got that movement. His body. He's got that like linky body where he could just like do the movements. And once again, we all know the dude can run because we saw him run like he was running away from a cop. So.
There's the movie crossover.
In 1922. Jesus,
that's the movie crossover we need: Terminator versus Alien.
Oh God, cool. Yeah.
We've never had that one, and that's
I'm getting hard just thinking about it.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
But see, he's got such a face to play in the Alien series. Like, I don't know how you don't utilize him. Because just looking at him, I could have sworn he was in that. Well, but I'm reading through, like, he's got no involvement.
I think perhaps then, but Patrick now is much older, and he's much more. He plays a lot of father figures now.
Yeah,
and he's got a very warm aspect to those roles when he plays them. He wouldn't fit in that now.
T-1000.
Yeah, he was in Scorpion the last. I think that was probably the last
Goliath
show
he was
he had,
in
right?
Goliath, which he played Goliath's father and stuff like that. He was, Scorpion was good. Perry Mason, he was in it. He was great in that. He's much more. He wouldn't fit in a sci-fi horror thing now, I don't think.
I don't buy that because I think he's got enough range. Like, he's just taken on things that don't have that foreboding mood. So if he played something, he could dig into it and just come across as like terrifying.
Well, and here's one of the problems with this movie. Like when we were watching Die Hard, or not watching, but going through it, the last one with a Vengeance, we were talking about the plot and everything and the characters throughout the entire thing. We have ventured off 3 times now because why? Because the plot of this movie is so simple. There's nothing really to it.
Yeah. It's set piece to set piece to set piece. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of like action sequence. Oh, we still got the same problem.
Like this was a great This was a great scene here.
Awesome. Yeah, they're great scenes, but it just kind of shows you how little substance there is to the story. It's
because it's an action movie and not just like a movie. That's where Die Hard stands above, because there's such a strong story and character development. It's not just an action sequence. You know?
Now that we've had the major character development of the new characters we got to know, this is it now for a while till the end.
so it's good. It's fun. Like, you can enjoy it, but it's not memorable. It's just action.
No, and that's why I like the quote that it's a great action film, but it's not a good Die Hard movie.
Yeah, no, that 70s nailed it with that. This was like its own movie, like its own story. Maybe you took out like the Die Hard John McClane-ness of it all. I'm sure people would be that much more receptive of it, because once again, you have that preconceived notion of what John McClane is as a character.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because it's still it's just the action movie.
It almost doesn't work unless it's a sequel either. That's the problem.
Yeah, I was gonna just say, what if could you see
with that? Yeah,
if this was a movie released, say with Keanu Reeves, it's like a different character, right? A cop. Yeah. Would it have worked like as a first time movie?
The only way you could do that. The only way you could do that is if you actually connected the character with one of the bad guys, so that they actually knew something was going down and
they're brothers.
Something, well, not so much that, but just so much that they actually know them to where they're like, you're not paying attention to this problem.
They're part of the crew before, family, whatever.
Something they know is up, right? Yeah, because that's the only other way you could make this work on its own. Because, otherwise, just a cop having somebody on the plane like that, other than being John McClane, it's really difficult to buy this going down like this. But then again, you put Schwarzenegger in a role like this, I guess it's believable. I guess.
Or you just replace a bad guy with the Predator. That's perfect.
Stallone doing this. Stallone could have done this.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
or even a Van Damme type could have done it.
No, Van Damme wouldn't have pulled it off.
Well, here's the thing, though. If they did it, it wouldn't be a cop, right? It would be like a Secret Service agent or somebody who would know something.
Everyone's a Navy SEAL these days,
or a Navy SEAL or something like that. It would definitely not be John McClane.
That was the number 2 movie behind this.
I've never read the
Navy SEAL.
I never read the book, but I'm curious now if he was a cop in the book too. I doubt it. I bet you he was like a Navy SEAL.
Walter Wager was a cop. Yes, he was a cop. An older cop. He was much older.
No, I'm not talking about the first book.
58 minutes.
Yeah, 58 minutes.
58
I thought
minutes.
It was a cop.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a cop.
No, okay. I never read that book. I've read the one that Die Hard's based on years and years ago. But
Roderick Thorpe. Yeah,
it's very loosely based on it. Yeah, like because I remember in the original book, because it's his daughter and not his wife, and she actually gets killed at the end and shit. Yeah.
Yep.
She's actually part
it's
of
a very
it.
bleak book. It's a bleak book, Tom.
And the guys in the book are politically motivated. They're not there for a heist. Like
Yeah, and she's actually banging the lead guy or whatever.
Yeah. However, that guy looks so eerie.
Yeah, look at that walkie-talkie, or is that a phone?
Dude, look at that.
Who holds the phone like that?
It's a brick. It's a Motorola brick.
Oh, that's a brick phone.
Yeah.
Who holds that?
He's treating it like it's some sort
John
of radio
McClane
gun.
does.
It's because it's putting 4 million watts of radiation right into his head right now.
I was gonna
You're
say
right in
his
his brain.
face is a sweaty mess. He probably like his skin would be like attached to the phone as he's talking. It's like, oh shit, I've made this phone all messy and sliding off his hands because he's
Honestly,
he's a sweaty
that's
mess.
probably some producer's phone, and they're like, "Don't get that fucking shit all over that phone. That phone costs me fucking $500."
$500 for that big
I
old
used to
car
sell
phone.
those.
No, but if
repair
that's a
all-
true
probably a couple
Motorola, he
thousand.
should have been using that as a weapon partway through.
That's right.
Holy shit! 5 years in Gray Stream. Well, thank you, dude. That's
I need to know.
It took that many?
that
That means
is
down to the last
dedication.
one in a 6-pack.
Yeah.
No, and as
And
you've
still
noticed-
no Mad Martigan. We
as
lost
you've
him forever.
noticed, Jesse, as you pointed out earlier, like none of these airlines are actual airlines.
Yeah,
They're all like fake airline names. There's like
Somebody would have
FBA or
paid
F-
to be in the movie.
Yeah, no, I doubt any of them would have wanted anything to do
Yeah.
with this.
yeah.
Oh,
Like
no, they
we want to.
wouldn't.
Well, they should have gotten the marketing executives from Peloton, to be, to
Qantas.
promote something.
Qantas never crashed.
Yeah, because
That's right,
Peloton stock.
I
They
can
had the Sex in the
imagine-
City when Mr. Big dies on the bike. It's like, yeah, let's have our trademark all over that one.
I just imagine Southwest like, no, we're not gonna show people what happens when one of our pilots listens to the wrong guy and the plane just totally crashed. I don't see Southwest
Yeah.
Airlines.
Oh,
being
you'd
totally...
have to be an idiot to do that. Oh my god, that'd be.
At least Bruce Willis
Willis
tried to
there's
do
no
something
amount of
here.
money
This I
that
like,
would
too.
save you.
No, not at all. Like I don't see Southwest like, yeah, that's a great depiction of our airlines. Let's totally go for it. Yeah, I don't see them signing their names to that. Never gonna
Well, it's
happen.
funny because when my wife and I were watching it, she said, "I remember why I don't like flying now." That's what she said when we watched this. She says, "I'm not going on a plane again."
Actually,
Okay.
those planes are nicer than the ones I've been on.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say that I think you could probably save this a little bit if you change the setting just a bit so that you take away John McClane's like jacket, so he's stuck in the cold cliffhanger style.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the shoes, but he's got to keep moving in order to stay
More
alive.
sense if he got locked into like the inside area or something like that. Like that part he was just in where he was, because then it would have had it. Because they kind of tried doing that, and that's a little bit more of the sequelitis with that last
Sequely
bit.
as well. Sequelitis.
Yeah, where he's kind of stuck in that shit, and he's got to crawl through the vent
In
and
a
all that stuff.
construction zone. Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff was set up just so it's kind of like the first film. So again, that's why I
here
like
it
the
is.
third one though, is where it kind of really like takes it out of the the claustrophobia of it.
He tries
But
to
still,
communicate.
it takes something away from the character, like the shoes.
Well, no,
it's
yeah,
hard
I
to
agree
pull
with you.
off.
Because like in the third film, he's constantly on his toes, right? He's being distracted with these stupid riddles and games while the real shit's going on. And the first film, yeah, he's got the handicap of the no shoes. I agree, he needed some kind of handicap here too, but
I think the only handicap
I feel like the weather is a big handicap.
I think the script handicapped him quite a bit.
Oh, well, yeah,
should
Nick,
have the
like I'm with you that the weather is a handicap. That's why I'm thinking you have to
cold as
remove
fuck.
jackets and stuff, and
Yeah. Well,
so you play with the cold a bit.
Well, don't forget, he was in that tunnel too, where it was a bunch of nasty old, like cold water in December. Like that alone is a huge part. Before when that plane that came down that knocked into the lid of the tunnel, like he had to have been like, that's freezing balls. And I know, like when they
I always felt this was a little too excessive too.
It was. There's
Like
a
they didn't
couple
have to
of-
show
it was
all the
cool
people in the
stuff.
plane just before it blows up and
There's a
shit.
couple
Like,
of sadistic moments in this film.
it could have
which
just
didn't-
crashed, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and then you got to know the grandma on the plane or whatever. And
Oh,
then-
yeah, I
spent-
got to
yeah,
know the
But I mean,
grandson.
okay, so
No,
and
but
I know
that's good.
I know for the
You gotta
movie it had to
feel it.
blow up, right? But if they were landing on fumes, is there enough fuel that would have
No.
blown up?
No,
No,
that
probably
would not have happened. That conflagration there.
Oh, that's the
Would
movie
not have
magic part,
Yeah.
like the James
Yeah.
Bond. When the vehicle goes off the ledge and instantly explodes,
Yeah,
like
it
doesn't
would-
touch anything. It
explodes a
just
lot
flew
easier.
off. Explosion.
Speaking of
will-
James Bond, he had an ejection seat like James Bond in this.
Well, no, to explain myself though, I don't mind them giving character to people on the plane. It's showing them right before their fucking death
That-
like that. I felt was a little excessive. Like we get the idea. You could have just had the thing crash. And I know I sound like a bit of a pussy, but it's like,
No, that's a good
No,
point.
I
Yes.
think there's,
no,
Yes,
it's
you
like,
do.
do you really need to show that? No, but do you really need to show that though? Like,
it's sadistic. I think in a little way. There's a little bit of
No,
sadism
but it's
in it.
adding
but
weight.
it
That's the
shows little
point.
piece of
the
shit
weight's
that got
already
you
there
to
though.
that
That's my
level.
point, Yet is you don't have to actually show them just before their imminent death like that.
Oh no. Okay. See, this is where I disagree, because if you're not knowing who they are, there's so much. There's less emotional attachment to get him to save the day.
Well,
Like
I think
because
Tom means just that one shot that
Just
I
the
clipped,
shot.
that
That's all
just
I'm talking about. Yeah.
on the inside, like when they're rocking around. Like
Yeah, you
know,
can even
just
show the
about-
pilots blowing up. That part I don't mind.
Yeah.
It's just, the fact that they had to really, because that's where you guys were talking about too, is like this. That's the thing with Rennie Harlan, and he does have a little bit of a mean streak in him.
see, that's where I like
yeah,
it.
it shows when you watch
Because
the
it's not just
insanity.
meaningless. Like
Wait a minute.
it's attaching real emotion and real fear.
Yeah.
So it propels the story forward that much more and increases the stakes, you know?
I
Yeah,
think
but
it's
it
just
didn't-
as dark without it, though. I mean,
It didn't
and
come
especially
across
with
to
World
me
War II,
as
Yeah, it
real
did-
emotion. It was just schlock. I didn't. That didn't
Maybe.
come.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it was
I mean, I could
gratuitous
see
because
both
they didn't
points.
really
No,
need
I
to do
agree
that. It's the
completely.
horror's there, but
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is fine. This scene is
Yeah,
fine.
see, this is all fine, and I get what
That's
you're saying.
fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with all that. My point was, to me, it was just a tad exploitative, or whatever the word is, to
Yeah.
show them
Gratuitous,
just
perhaps.
before they're dying.
Yeah, look what
Yeah.
we're doing. to
I
these
can
people.
understand that. I just like the idea of getting to know people so that there's weight to what
I'm all
to
for
the
that
decisions.
I'm all
Yeah.
for that shit. Just to
Well,
me, in a
that's
Die Hard
true.
movie, it was just kind of.
You
Yeah,
do
like
feel
Wow,
it
But
more.
we
that's
saw that
correct,
with
yeah.
some of the characters before they got executed, right? In the first.
Sort of, but outside of Cokehead, not really.
Specific. You think you
And
And the
Okay.
boss,
Yeah.
the boss, yeah.
Hans, baby.
And the boss. Yeah, sure.
Hey, you know what,
Yeah,
McLean? I
we'll
just
see.
There's even
realized
enough right here with him picking up the doll. I mean,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
McLean
it's-
does have a handicap. He's still married.
Oh,
handicap.
and this is an argument I get into with a lot of people, and that's why I like to ignore
where's
this
the
movie.
missus?
Because to me, I feel like the third film is the actual second film. Like this never happened.
I've got to
He's a
rewatch
fever
that third
dream.
I
one.
think the third film has just as many flaws as this one that are just and some of the things you guys are saying about this one. I don't necessarily disagree with, but so many of them can be applied right to the third one as well. But maybe the third one is more enjoyable because it has probably
more
because of
humor
that
in it.
Big,
There's
that
more
cast
humor.
I
that
guess
they
you'll have
had.
to sit down with us
the
and give us
backup
the
cast.
specifics. Yeah, because you weren't actually you were in the chat last time. So
We
you
could
weren't
go
able to
back
keep
in
up.
time and do it again if you want.
No.
Yeah,
That's
I
okay.
need
I
to
do like
rewatch
the
that
third one.
third in order to know because
Because to
I
me-
can't
like the
remember
third
it.
one.
Because to me, the only thing I have a flaw with in the third film is just like where there's a few parts where the verisimilitude is a little too, like the jumping onto the boat and a few things. But outside of that, I'm like stretching to feel like where I felt like I did with this one, where it's like,
No,
they're just
I
doing this
love it.
shit because sequel,
Yeah.
right? Like
I love
Like
the
he
movie.
feels
The
like he's
problem
being
with the third-
drug
I
into
don't-
that. Yeah.
My only problem with the third movie that is really just I don't like what they did to McClane and that character change. I don't like him turning him to John Allen back. It doesn't work for me. I like him better in this one. I've learned to accept it, and I don't really. It's not much. To
That's a
argue
fair,
about.
and I've
but I
had that
don't
argument
like
with
it.
people.
Okay,
But
so-
yeah.
So, do you think this?
I'm fine with it now, but
the-
I've had a lot of problems with it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Yeti. Go ahead.
Oh no, like okay. So, do you think this film suffered from the '90s itis, where the '80s it was grounded more in that realism, and then you hit the '90s, and then it goes to more over the top action movies?
I think it's more of a sequelitis thing because remember
Sequelitis,
they're trying to live up to a movie that 2 years ago blew everyone away that no one expected.
Right.
You're trying to live up. You're trying to measure up to Die Hard, right?
Yeah,
That's
they've
like
got a-
trying to measure up to Star Wars. Yeah, Irvin Kershner did it, but then right after
Yep.
that, what happened? And that's trying to live up to Jaws didn't happen with that sequel.
Yeah, they're going to
It's
keep
like trying to
ratcheting
live
it
up to
up.
something. You're trying to make just 2 years later something that measures up, you're going to be infected with sequelitis because you're trying to.
They keep
I mean,
ratcheting it up.
With.
Yeah,
I think they were focusing on being bigger and spectacle, but they didn't focus as much on the story. They just want to keep it huge in action, obviously, and there's a lot of great action in this. But yeah, and the opposite, one of the biggest differences too is now there's expectations, because when you see a movie like Die Hard for the first time, you didn't know a movie like that was gonna be the runaway hit that it was. It's like, okay, now I know a Die Hard 2, I have expectations, and that is a really different change of perspective of how you view a movie, is the set of expectations. Because when you go into Die Hard 1, you're like, oh, this movie's incredible, I didn't see this coming. Now Die Hard 2, like, okay, how are you going to measure up to this? Because now you have something to measure it against, versus when you're saying Die Hard, you're not having a basis to measure it against, unless you're just having a general movie conversation, of course. But for Die Hard 2, it's always going to be in that shadow of the first movie, because especially with the Christmas setting and trying to get to his wife and make sure she's safe.
It should have been an Easter, not Christmas again.
It should be, and of course you got the one setting building to the airport, but once again, it's definitely very similar. There's definitely a lot of copying and pasting, but luckily I'm still very entertained by this movie.
Well, the movie looks.
Thanksgiving was my second choice, Tom. It was going Easter, Thanksgiving, but every Die Hard movie should have been different holiday.
Oh,
they did need the snow in this one, so it had to be a winter holiday.
Well, they
Easter
use ice machines when they did the scenes, because when they would have times where the snow wouldn't be coming around, they would actually use an ice shipping machine that chewed up to 300-pound blocks of ice. Damn. And that's 300-pound blocks of ice, and it chewed up in seconds. And before you know it, they were able to create fake snow using that, which I always thought that was really cool. And once again, I know we all have our complaints about Rennie Harlan, but I thought that was really committed. And he is actually, when I remember seeing the special features back in the day, because I had we had the silver case here at home of the special features of Die Hard. He was making fun of apparently everyone else on the team working on this movie, because he said they all couldn't handle it because they're used to California weather, whereas for him, he can handle it because he's used to the cold weather. So for him, this is just another day in paradise.
I can't believe it. Talking about the special features, there is a shot of Bruce Willis slapping the makap person.
And oh my god! Can we find that?
Please find that too. And I can't even believe they left it in there. Like it's hilarious, because they're like poking at his eye or whatever, because they're doing like his makeup or whatever, and he turns, he swipes, and he just smacks him across the face. Whoa. And he gives him a look like, "You fucking hurt, you son of a bitch!" Like it's like completely legit. Wow. You're like, "Holy shit! How did they leave that?" And it's in like one of the old making ofs, and you're just like, "Whoa."
I mean, isn't Bruce Willis notoriously difficult to work with anyway?
Well, that's why it was in Expendables 3. He wanted more money for a cameo role again, and Slow just like,
$1 million get out of here. Of screen time.
Hey, get the fuck out of here! I just replaced you with Harrison Ford. And he gets on the phone. Hey, Harrison, you want to replace Bruce Willis? Sure.
He has fallen so far downhill in the last couple of years. Like, his movies are just trash. Like, he just shows up and does lazy ratings. Like, he's not even trying. Whatever you want to say about Nick Cage, at least when the guy shows up, he is trying.
He works.
Like, he is there to do what the director wants.
I still like some of new Nick Cage.
How was that movie Pig?
Because he's still trying.
Pig's good, yeah. Pig was very, very good.
What's funny is
it's not what you think it is, but it's good.
One of the main reasons we know about Bruce Willis is because of Kevin Smith. After he started speaking up, other people said, like, yeah, he is a jerk.
Yeah, because I guess he was going to try to beat up Kevin Smith.
Oh, God!
In hindsight, that may have been for the best.
I wish why can we not see that? Like, that's the universe I want to live in.
Yeah. By the way, we forgot to mention a great actor there, Franco Nero. You don't see him in English language roles very often, and he doesn't have a lot to do in this, but he's brilliant. I always like to see him. Django.
Reagan National, an extension of Denver and Nashville, who were under construction when the movies made. How fitting you were able to get away more with them making this movie. Nah, but for real, like in hindsight, because Kevin Smith he was in Die Hard 4. He was in Live Free. Yeah.
He actually and then wrote his dialogue for his scene, believe it or not.
Oh, I believe it. Totally believe it. I actually, at the time, I enjoyed Clerks too, but then, then obviously what was a heart attack that happened?
Yeah, he had a
Kevin
heart attack
Smith,
like
yeah.
3-4 years ago.
I
And
thought Clerks 2 is kind of dull.
I liked Clerks 2
I
at the
did
time.
too.
I'm so disappointed in him in general.
Yeah. At the time, it was good. Now it's just.
I like that. I liked his Daredevil run too. I was really enjoying those books that he did. I remember he had a really cool story going on with Mysterio, so it was cool to see, a blind man going up against the Master of Illusion. So
I hate to. I think this is the scene you were actually talking about earlier, Nick.
Yes,
it's actually
this is the
shot in
scene.
5 different places. Yeah,
7 or 8 of them, and
Yeah.
they varied from California to Colorado to Michigan. Yeah, and they give you the illusion that it was done in one area, and that's very impressive filmmaking. Because even when I rewatch it, because sometimes when you rewatch a movie, like especially when you see like the movie being made, you kind of look at it different. Like, oh well, now that I know that that's fake, it kind of looks a little faker because now type of thing.
Keep watching.
But
Like the helicopter.
Yeah, but now even though with rewatching it, it still sells me that this was done in one area. So I really respect that thing what Rennie Harlan did with this thing, because it still looks like it was done in one area, even with the knowledge of knowing priorly.
And I had a big problem with the scene. Why doesn't he just let the plane go by and then crawl back out once he sees it coming towards him?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'll go back in and pop out when the plane goes over.
I'll just risk my life with a split-second decision.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying earlier. Is they have a lot of stuff just happen just so they can have stuff happen because
for plot.
The story is just kind of simple.
Yeah, but I would have popped back, like, oh shit, let's go back down and then pop back. Like it didn't have to do that. Yep. Or if like
it was a quick decision.
Yeah, or if he'd pop the lid off and then the plane crashes because it's the tire goes over that. That would have been cool. That's what it was. When I was watching it the first time, that's what I thought was going to happen. But yeah, I mean, it's still when you're watching the movie theater, you're like, oh, it's going to get run over.
Because we got to make it exciting.
Got to make it exciting, yeah. I mean, but
the movie ain't going to end there.
But this is where he has his Bond moment. This is where McClane has his Bond moment. Because he does his ejection seat when he fights the guy who looks like Castro, and I call him the Castro guy.
Yep, kind of a jump the shark moment.
Is this the Raiders of the
Noriega would be closer.
Yeah, but yeah.
Is this the Raiders of the Ark scene, or is that later, where they're fighting on the plane?
That's later.
Yeah, that's later.
Yeah, that's
the thing you guys also got to understand. Like, I've seen the first and third one 1 billion times. I've seen this one a handful of times.
I think I've seen them almost an equal amount of times. This one I've seen.
I usually skip over the second one. Almost always skipped over the second.
I'm still trying to find that point where he slapped the crew member because I want to see that.
I can't remember which making of it's in, but it's on one of them. And because I remember reminding it like 30 times. I'm like, was that real? Like, I'm waiting for him to like start busting up laughing like it's a joke or something. But no, he's got a dead serious look on his face. It's like whatever that makeup guy did to piss him off, probably poked him in the eye, but still.
Mm-hmm. And yes, preach it, Andre. Preach.
Sometimes John McClane got to slap a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a guy too, so it wasn't like that jarring, but it was like just jarring enough that they left it in like a little making of it. Like it's like, wow, that was out of nowhere.
Well, today you get fired for that, right?
Tom, do you?
I mean, that's assault. I mean, that's
there's when you watch the special features on DVDs, then there'll be random ones where they'll slide in a bunch of stuff. Like I remember when the Affleck Daredevil came out on DVD, I bought it. And there's a bunch of like super vulgar language, and it's just like what you wouldn't expect on the special features. And also Ben Affleck's talking about wearing the suit makes you feel like you never have children. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? These guys are getting all. I love it, but it's just one of those things you didn't see come with the special features. You expect that for maybe the movie, but usually special features are kind of like for everyone to watch, but not what you expect. What
we have an update on Die Hard universe multiverse.
Oh my God!
Multiverse?
Yes. Loaded Weapon. Remember, he played John McClane in a crossover. And did anyone mention the crossover with Lethal Weapon? How there was planned to be a scene in one of the Lethal Weapon sequels where
he had that
John
magazine.
McClane's desk. Or John McClane's. I know. But before that, Lethal Weapon 3 or one of those was supposed to have a scene where they walked by a guy's desk that's all messed up, and it was supposed to be McClane's desk, but. Didn't happen.
Oh, really?
That'd be cool.
But anyway, yes, Loaded Weapon. That's another one.
Loaded
Remember the scene?
Weapon.
National
weapons.
Lampoon's Loaded Weapon. There's a scene with where he's John McClane's in it.
I can't wait for the new Lethal Weapon now that oh God, what's his name?
Glover.
No, not Glover. Mel Gibson is directing.
He's directing?
Yeah, and I have to say, he is the most underrated current working director out there. He does not get enough praise as a director.
No, he does not. Okay, now that
the guy knows story. He knows story hands down.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. No, I love Gibson. Obviously, he's a great actor. We all know that's like saying, Snow is white, but damn. He's directing too. I love him as a director as well.
He directed 3 complete movies filmed in foreign languages: Passion of the Christ, Apocalyptica, and Braveheart.
I would put his director ability above acting, because like that's how high I'm rating him as a director. Like, he knows how to put together the story.
Agreed.
He's a very extremely talented guy. Just a lot of personal demons, but
there's
a lot of people.
Lots of people with personal demons are just exceptionally talented.
That's usually how it goes. Like sometimes when they're crazy or they got a bunch of shit stirred up in them, that's usually when they the influence comes out to make something amazing and
they've got something to say.
Yep, they got. Yeah, I think that could have applied to why his personality was so crazy and deranged for his character in the Lethal Weapon movies. Like the guy, maybe there was a little bit of himself he put into that movie because of how much. I mean, you see the character. Is this guy who's lost his wife and he hates that he has this life where he has no one. Whereas Danny Glover's character, he's got the suburban life, big palace of a house deal. Very
too old for this shit.
Yeah, totally too old for this shit. Yeah, no, I'd say definitely Gibson. Maybe he doesn't do full self-insert, but I do believe in some roles he puts sprinkles of himself in the movie. Because
although I get the sense he's kind of toned down a bit as he's aged, but I don't know if that's going to diminish his directorial. I still think he's going to have that because there's an eye for it.
I'm gonna have to agree with RC on this one too. I really like him as a director, maybe better as well. I do like when he's definitely another guy who writes and directs, and once again he'll never get credit because people will give him crap for the Mark Steven Johnson Daredevil and that Jiggly Apocalyptic Nightmare. But then there's
does anyone remember the Daredevil?
I do. I mean, for me at the
director's cut.
The director's cut had some good. You had a whole subplot with Coolio involved.
The director's cut's good. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole plot with Coolio. Trying to think here. I mean, I still don't like Jennifer Garner to this day as Electro. I didn't mind Duncan as the Kingpin. I mean, obviously D'Onofrio hit a grand slam. But I'd say that Duncan's maybe did a solid base hit to second base with it. Like, I thought he was solid, for what they were going for at the time. And I'll tell you, he actually felt like he was genuinely casted for that role. Not like nowadays where if he were casted, he would have totally been the diversity hire, even though we all know Duncan is talented.
Plus, yeah.
Yeah, so R.I.P. to Michael Clark Duncan, MCD, and yes. There's our boy here. Shoot him up, and then we get our Bond moment. Yeah. I actually kind of
this is the best scene in a movie because none of this works that way.
Does this plane even have an ejection seat? I mean,
I don't know. This
that
is
one does.
3 or 4 levels of doesn't.
No,
work
but I mean,
way.
I can't imagine a cargo plane having a plane like that having an ejection seat. Maybe I'm sure someone in the chat. Was that a C-49? I mean, what plane was this? That was a C-149 or what's the? But someone will check in the chat for us too.
It's a C. You need to stop asking questions.
Yeah, don't ask logical. But I mean, plus the grenades, the grenades go off forever. Take forever. Like my dad, when he was trained in the army, being the crazy nut he was, the instructor said, the grenade goes off. I'm remembering the numbers, say after 8 seconds, but throw it at 4 or whatever. But of course, my dad waited, the crazy loon he was, to 7 seconds to throw it, so it hit the ground and exploded.
There's your answer.
And then
that's how you get your Master Chef award.
Yeah, but see, they put one in for this country because they don't want. They're all pretty sneaky, and if they don't like the co-pilot, they're just there just in case.
And then the instructor yelled at my dad's like, Lucian, you never throwing a grenade again. And he's like, why did you do this? He's like, well, I don't want the son of a bitch to throw the grenade back at me.
That's very true.
Yeah, so we did it perfectly. But
or you want them to pick it up like they think they're going to, and then it just blows up.
Boom.
Because they used up the timer on them.
Yeah, I mean, you suspend disbelief, but then this was this just seemed and ejecting from a plane on the ground is like,
I know, you get so fucked up.
You most of the time, you're not gonna make it anyway. Something like, but I mean, of course, it's a Die Hard movie, but that's when it loses some of the. Yeah, it's the guy, taking all these terrorists by himself, but it's just like they wrote this like, oh, wouldn't that be cool if he used an ejection seat? How are we going to get to that point? Instead of having him like find a way out of the plane or some more believable way to.
There pretty ain't no way you're getting out of that plane without an unbelievable movie plot device.
Can you remind me how he got to the ejection seat? So was that military plane? Because I'm feeling a little hazy right there.
It's a cargo jet, C-130. Yep. So radioactive.
Okay.
So it doesn't have an
from
ejection
that other country
seat.
or whatever country the Esperanza was from. I guess.
Because I'm assuming it's mostly fighter jets.
It's so cheesy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's.
I love
It's
his
so fun.
face, dude. He has great facial expressions when he's up in there. We're getting
Oh,
close.
shit.
Yeah, I think I clipped that. Yeah.
Well, that parachute comes out damn quick too. So that was convenient because he isn't that high up.
Yeah,
exactly. That's
isn't
the
that the
problem.
second issue? If you are that close to the ground, it wouldn't have enough time in order to
No, the
slow your
parachute
descent.
would go off, and then you'd hit the ground like 2
Yeah.
seconds later with your ass or
Yeah.
your face
Yeah.
All right.
strapped into a chair.
Random question
Might as
for
well
the
just have somebody
panel.
tie you to a chair and throw you off your roof.
Who has seen the Die Hard battery commercial?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I've seen that. Yep.
Oh, so good.
was
Don't
I didn't
remember.
see that until last week, and I'm like, how did I not know this? It came out last year, and I didn't not even know that was a thing. So you got characters from 1 and 2, and I think even 3, like appearing in it. So they acknowledge 1, 2, and 3. Thankfully, they don't go with Live Free, but it's nice to see like that commercial and him still trying to pull up the John McClane. And then McClane should just be left to commercials. I don't think he's got it in him to be McClane no more. I really don't think so.
Oh god, they got to let him go. They have to let that go.
Yeah, let
they
Die
proved that
Hard
with
go.
that last one.
Yeah,
I went out and bought that battery for my truck, though.
Dude.
Okay, he doesn't slap him, but he hits him anyway.
Dude,
I got it. I
that's-
found it. I found
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
All right, here we go. Hold on, Tom's got something.
Oh, great,
I'll
RC.
try and
Great
slow
call
it down
there.
so we can actually see it. So
Yeah.
And as he's bringing this up, I think one of the next movies you got to do is Cliffhanger.
Ooh.
Okay, it's
I
after
haven't
this
seen
next shot
Cliffhanger
here.
in ages.
I haven't seen that since I thought in the theater the
Yeah,
first
this
time.
guy's
Never needed to
messing
see
with
it
his
again.
eye and he fucking slugs him. Ow.
Ow.
Oh, I thought it was going to be so much better than that.
I'm
thought he
sorry, it
was
wasn't that
slapping
good.
him across
He just tapped him like, come on.
That was a
Yeah,
tap.
I'm sorry, guys. It wasn't as cool as I thought it was.
That was not. You made it. You sold it as like open hand
I know.
slap.
You're right. You're right. I did.
Well, he is an actor, so that probably was a slap to him,
I thought it was going to be a Christian Bale moment where he like,
No, I
That,
can't believe they
seems so
still
much more
left it in
friendly. He's like, "Oh, you little dick! You like, watch
Well,
what you're doing."
it's actually a little. When it happens faster, it seems a lot harder. Like I slowed that way down.
Ow. I
You
just
hurt
say,
me.
Ow. Yeah,
You ruined
ow.
my life.
that
He's
wouldn't
all
hurt
like,
John
"Ow."
McClane.
Yeah, right? He's supposed to be John McClane. That makes
Wow,
him
look how high up he is.
Yeah. You're like 500 feet. Yeah. They would have
Like-
shot him too, right? Coming down like that. He's
Yeah,
a
why aren't they
sitting duck.
friggin' shooting at him?
Yeah.
I always
Plot.
thought, even back then, I'm like, you could probably maybe get a shot at him. I mean, you're like, what do you
At least
40
shoot the
feet?
parachute out.
Wow.
For as much shit as we give the later Die Hard movies, I think the one thing we might be able to agree on is like at least they didn't go into gender swap the roles. Because they're remaking Cliffhanger and they're gender swapping like the main
Of course
character.
they are. Of course they are.
That's only because of the year it was made.
Yeah, only because of the year it was made. Well, here's the thing.
Look at those last Die Hard movies. You know, that was in the year of gender swaps.
No, it wasn't.
Look at Nakatomi.
It was a little early. It was like 2013 or something.
But
yeah,
the last one, 2013.
I mean, they were neutered because he's like yippee-yi-yay, yippee-ki-yay, mother, and then it explodes or something. So
the
it's
last
like,
one was R, but
it was
Live Free or Die Hard was PG-13. Yeah.
Yeah, and they went back to PG. They went back to R for the 5th one, and somehow it was even worse than the PG-13 one. How do you go back to R and then get?
Because it was just
worse?
a shitty script.
It was unbelievable. Look, you could have at least like this ridiculous thing we're talking about here with the ejection shit or whatever. There's fun ridiculous and there's absolutely obnoxious ridiculous. And A Good Day to Die Hard is obnoxious.
Exactly.
There's nothing even enjoyable. There's nothing even where you can go, yeah, that was stupid, but it was fun.
And Bruce Willis definitely doesn't want to be there. Like you can tell through the whole movie, he's completely phoning it in.
There's no good character moments. You're thinking, okay, with his son having an adventurous stretch, but maybe they'll have some banter back and forth. There's nothing, not one good second in that movie. It's so bad.
Okay, yeah, the last one was 2013, so that's my bad because I was thinking it was released.
I know it feels like it was
recently.
a lot longer ago. No, I was gonna say it
Yeah.
felt like a lot longer ago, but no, yeah, believe it or not, it was 2013.
Yeah, that's actually hard to believe.
No, we were supposed to get another one before Disney took over Fox. That was the one where we were going to get a young McClane. Remember?
Oh, thank God that didn't happen. Woo.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be.
Put a hold on this, Mark. I'm going to show a 70s
sure.
show.
That's not a slap. This is a slap.
Thank you.
That's a movie slap.
It had to make me feel worse. Like my memory was like, oh, he fucking slugged this guy or whatever, and I'm like, yeah. So
that's a slap.
Oh, look, he's got that face where he's like, ow. He's got that face right there. Ow.
I love the Washington football team is there too in the office.
It was the serious look afterwards.
So that isn't an alternative universe.
Oh, the Redskins.
That's an alternative.
The other thing that was really, the other thing that really
Redskins.
got wrong in this movie, that line where he said the guy's got a Glock 7, where it's a Glock 17. And they said, porcelain gun BS.
That drove me nuts.
And they use that the gun control people were using that, forever. Like, well, you could have an undetectable gun where you've got, the slide is metal. There's all metal parts in it. The bullets are metallic, and it's all a bunch of BS. But the line you should have been like, it's a really expensive weapon, maybe. But like the armor actually tried to get them to change the script and couldn't get them to change it. So people still mention like, well, you could get an undetectable gun, like, in Die Hard.
I saw it in a movie.
Yeah.
It must be real.
Yeah, the barrel's metal. But yeah, just more movie, BS. But
okay, I've actually never seen the R-rated version of Live Free.
It's not that much different. There's just a little bit more blood and F words.
Right. Yeah. And they took out one of the few funny lines in the film. Remember when he throws the car at the helicopter or whatever?
Yes.
And he says, "You just took out a car with a helicopter."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, yeah." And he says, "Well, I was all out of bullets." Okay, that's McClane-ish. The other one, the R-rated version, has him saying people are getting killed in traffic accidents all the time. It's just like a few more. Like what in the what? That doesn't make any sense.
It's one of those. The R-rated version really. The R-rated version didn't really make a difference. Yeah.
No.
Oh, Rudy's comments. Possible actors, guns are social.
Yeah. Allegedly, Alec Baldwin's gun just went off. Yeah.
All by itself.
It happens all the time, right? I mean,
Andre says there's a comic basically showing McClane's first in the police force. Do you know about this, Coburn?
I've seen that comic.
Yes.
What company put that out?
Good question. It wasn't one of the big ones.
Was it IDW?
Well, and here's the thing I'm curious about it, and this is why I wasn't on board with the prequel movie either, is McClane was supposed to be a regular beat cop who worked his way up to detective, and he had never really dealt with anything like that before. Like, so that was my only problem, is like, if you do some like story of when he was young and he had to deal with something similar to this, I'm totally going to lose my shit. Because that's all McClane is he's a typical beat cop who just happened to work his way up to detective, right? Like, he's just a good cop. That's all he is. He's not some super cop. He's not, Dirty Harry. He's John McClane. He's just a regular schmo.
I can't remember who printed it, but I think Howard Chaykin wrote it or something, if I remember right. But I never read it, so I don't.
Yeah, they had one issue was free, like you could get it for free. At one point, like the first issue is a giveaway.
Well, that's my thing. Is like that would be one of the most boring fucking movies ever if they actually did it like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's like what?
Oh, there you go. Boom Studios Comics. Handy McRandy. Okay. There you go. Thank you, Handy Randy.
Very handy.
Very handy indeed.
I think when it came out, I saw it go, why are you doing this? But I think Chaykin did it for some reason.
Yep, Chaykin and Thompson.
Was it him? Stephen Thompson or something?
Yep. You got
this is it. Oh, Yeti, here you go. Your wish is granted.
Do you want me to show that, or should I? Is it okay to?
Cut his throat.
Well, if you're asking me, like I can sit through it. If you're asking Nick, if he can show it on his own, like that might be a bit different.
Would I get? Well, Tom, you've been at the game long enough. Would I get nailed for this scene?
If you got 6 seconds, you're probably okay.
Nice.
But maybe Tom can answer.
Let's go for it. If you got
6 seconds, 6 seconds is usually safe.
Yeah, 6.
I don't, I don't want to mess you up, Nick. So, yeah.
But ask, maybe Tom can answer a bit more because this is violent
footage.
Oh, I love this. The icicle, dude. This is like some Cannibal Corpse level, man.
I'll never look at a snowman the same way again.
Look at that thing.
According to the reviews of this comic, it sounds like it's just another typical Die Hard story. So if that's the case, then
yeah. But is that bad?
Well, the review goes with this just basically ends up being another Die Hard in a blank story, and it lacks imagination. And much like the Thing prequel, if it was supposed to be canon, John McClane would probably have had a huge sense of deja vu and spend most of Die Hard 1 wondering why the same stuff is happening to him again. Exactly my point. Like, you can't do that. And here we go, the best kill in the movie,
Yeah. That guy deserved it.
But did you hear the question
this was
from
everyone's
those guys
pick?
about playing the scene, Tom?
Yeah, as long as it's like 6 to 8 seconds, you should be
okay.
Fine,
yeah.
So there's your confirmation from Tom.
Yeah, and it's Fox. It's not Universal or MGM.
Well, I mean,
I think Paramount's even worse.
Paramount can be worse, yes.
You don't even want to mention STD. They take you down, right?
Yeah, right.
So on my YouTube channel, I will upload videos for the family to see, and I'll leave them as unlisted. And so like I do like a lot of videos of my granddaughter. And over the summer, we were at the fair, and she was on I videotaped her with my camera on a Ferris wheel, not a Ferris wheel, a merry-go-round.
Yep.
And the merry-go-round like organ music, when I uploaded it to YouTube, hit me up with copyright.
That's funny.
It didn't matter because it was unlisted and I wasn't going to be, monetizing or anything like that. But I was still weird that it was still came up with like that organ song. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've got all that stuff in the back end for just computer analytics. Anything that comes up that's already made, they go after. Especially music. They are hardcore in music.
Oh yeah, I trust me. When I did a video for the latest Exodus album, and I kept every clip like under 10 seconds, like of each song. I'm like, and that even then that felt nerve wracking. Like
you gotta go to 6. You're safe at 6, at least in my experience.
Okay.
10 pushes it. 8 is okay. You'll still have troubles, but 6. I've never had an issue with 6.
Okay, I'm gonna have to remember that for future reference because, it's weird because you want to have enough to justify like someone wanting to hear the songs. So I can imagine what it's like for a guy like Razorfist who has those metal mythos. He must get like flagged all the time.
It's tough because I want to make more music videos and I can't because I don't know how much I can play of any of the records I'm talking about.
So technically, there's no limit on the amount of time. That's for fair use consideration, but if you're just trying to avoid the claim altogether so you don't have to fight, then it doesn't seem to trigger at 6 seconds. Now, say if you're at 10 or 12, you might end up getting claimed, but then you could fight that and be fair use for context.
Okay,
that you'd be okay. You just have to fight it.
And if you're not monetized, it really doesn't matter either. I mean, once you're monetized, then it's a different issue, I guess. But yeah, it's always
you
a
still don't
thing.
want it on your channel beforehand because
was a difference between a claim and a copyright strike too, I guess, right? I mean, if a claim,
there's 4 levels really. You have your copyright claim, then you have your copyright strike. Now, copyright claims are weird because they're harmless. It's just being someone else is going to put ads on your videos, even if you're not monetized, and collect ad revenue from you. But there's 3 different levels of that where they will ban you in 4 countries, and then there's one where it's banned worldwide.
Wow.
But that's like has more to do with their distribution of that product.
Yeah,
when they make a claim, because not all of them have the distribution rights, so they'll depending on where you upload, they'll make a claim and they'll set it like only certain places can see it, US or Canada or whatever.
Yes.
And that's all with their distribution.
So now that being said, with the videos being removed, like primarily it's like stuff Warner Brothers owns and shit, but like they're a big one. But
but Warner
makes
drops
a
it
copyright
quick.
Strike so vindictive because it's unnecessary. You could either collect money off of it immediately or you could have it removed. I mean, like, you don't have to strike people.
Yeah, I've never had a strike. Everything I'm talking about is for claims.
Are we talking about just audio here or video with audio?
Both.
Video with audio. Yeah, like for music, they'll go after music the same way, but if you're just showing video, that's an easier pass. But video and audio, then you have to start bringing it down.
I get a lot of claims for just showing trailers, which always drives me nuts. And I'm not monetized, so it doesn't matter. But it's like I'm showing a trailer, talking about like, go watch this movie.
Yeah, you're trying to promote them.
Yeah,
you're trying to promote them. Say, hey, you should go say this. I'm helping you get people to want to see your product, and yet here you are flagging me, striking me, all this stuff. I think.
And it's
so much is
it's
automated,
trailer,
though.
right? Yeah.
Thank you.
So much is the automated system.
Yeah, well, remember when Paulie got taken down? He artist on they were playing, and she was playing her music, and then they nuked his screen.
Right,
when she was trying to promote her music. Yeah,
that's all automated stuff.
All right, now this is inside my YouTube studio, right? So this is on my end what I see. So
just make sure you don't show how much you're making because that can get your channel nuked.
I'm not
like
really
YouTube does not like that.
All this is showing is like some of the video game stuff. The monetization is still on. Then like the last stream I did, ineligible, limited, ineligible, limited, ineligible, limited, ineligible, on. That's kind of how it goes.
Wow.
But then I see so many people who make their videos and they go on and show how much they make through monetization of their YouTube channel. There's been a couple people that I follow that make these in-depth videos showing how much they made for like 2020 or 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make enough off of YouTube to brag about it. If I was like bringing in some kind of like good money off of YouTube, they're like, yeah, that's cool. Well, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they want to be predicted, like I guess seen in a good light as far as the payment goes. So
because most of those people are making like $10,000 a day.
Yeah, the
$10,000 a day. What do you gotta do for that?
I have millions of subscribers.
And some of the studios are much better than others. For most of the time, like if I get a claim and I fight it, it'll be dropped in 3 days. But there's, I've had 2 that have been held against me. Like the last one was the Kathleen Kennedy. I totally redid all the faces and all that editing. Yeah. But they kept the claim there.
Even though you changed all the faces?
Yeah, for one of the movies. It was Wolf of Wall Street. So I redid one of his like speeches and I replaced it with Kathleen Kennedy and all the other like Star Wars people, and they
modified it. Yeah.
Just don't
totally
make
modified
it. Crusher.
Yeah, they said They upheld that. It doesn't make any sense to me because it's completely altered, but different studios are much better at releasing things.
Yeah, because George Lucas used to want people to make fan films, or maybe he still does. But that was one of the big things about Lucas, and he had actually that competition where you made fan films, and it helped everyone love the IP and love Star Wars.
Well, it wasn't Lucas that
claimed it.
But
it was George. Yeah, but now with Disney, it's a totally different, totally different.
Disney's actually pretty good about that. You usually don't get claims off of Disney.
You know what? He's right. I at one point in time I had viewed the entire original WandaVision preview on VideoMine, and nothing.
Nothing.
Not
like
a thing.
Disney and Warner are probably the two least.
Yeah.
Then you go down the line, and then like Paramount and Universal and MGM are like the worst three.
Yeah. It's like they don't understand when you're talking about it and showing it that it's kind of it's.
I've had MGM and Paramount actually copy claim like things that only had like still images and shit.
Oh my god! Seriously?
Yeah.
Anytime I ever tried to do anything with a video,
now Paramount dropped the
Warner
one,
Brothers,
but MGM didn't.
Blocked.
Wow. Still, that's a totally different.
This was way back when too, which was weird. Like it was way back when things weren't even as sensitive, which is funny.
Okay.
Wow.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Good thing we're not showing too many still images tonight.
No,
I know.
It was from way back before I was even part of Midnight's Edge. I had done a review of Poltergeist 2, and MGM claimed it. There is no video in it whatsoever. It's all still images. They would not drop it. And then after I was part of Midnight's Edge, just before, Paramount claimed a video that had still images. Now they ended up dropping it, but in the meantime, I just made the same video through the audio over a picture that basically said Paramount will not allow us to show any images, and then for the rest of the image was just a mountain of garbage that said Paramount of garbage.
Awesome.
Wow.
They didn't claim that, did they?
I think I even said something about like claim this bitch or something like that.
I mean, that's like Rick Beato. He's gone and testified in front of Congress and stuff for fair use, and because he gets hit a lot with copyright strikes.
I know. He is amazing.
Yeah,
he has these guys on as guests sometimes and interviews them, and he still can't put the records in his videos. Even though
this is the quote.
You know what? The thing about him though is he could just sit down and play you something 25% different.
And he gets his friends to play it, with him. Yeah.
All right. When Grant said this quote to McClane, I love that scene. And then of course he does the
you're kind of asshole.
He's like, he's like, I was wrong about you weren't an asshole. He's like, no, I'm just you were right. I'm just your kind of asshole.
Well,
I thought that was a great moment.
That was a little wrong, showing like footage of Mad Martigan there. that just seems insensitive, man.
A flaming dumpster fire.
Is Mad gonna get a microaggression from this?
Poor old Mad. Where is Mad?
No, he's gone Hollywood. He's on big time now. He's left us forever.
What show was he on?
Oh no, he's currently on World Class Bullshitters. Currently.
Is he bullshitting?
That's bullshit.
Doesn't he always?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I hope there are no women on that show with him.
Oh, Mad Martigan, wherever you are, Handy Randy, send him a handy.
We're sending the women after you.
William Atherton is, what a career the guy had. He's played Dick and Dickless.
Handy Randy. It's like we speak and Handy Randy just shows up. What Mad's left us, that flaming asshole. Oh my god. Hello,
I'm gonna write him a message for his stream.
Now we've almost
that we're all judging Mad.
As long as this movie. Do you realize it almost takes us longer to go through these pictures than it does the actual movie?
Yeah,
that's fun. Like
or Telford's
because we got like a half hour left of the movie here, and the movie would almost be done if we were watching it.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to go through. Usually, I try to go through and delete a bunch of pictures, and when you're clipping, you always grab extra. But yeah, I always seem to finish like 5 minutes before the show was on somehow. So, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. But yeah,
we're getting there though.
This was that was a good flip though. I thought in the van that really, and someone posted in the chat that scared the crap out of me. I didn't see that coming, but that was the one good plot flip I thought in this, or twist in this.
That blouse
this
that
movie
lady had on was so 80s.
yeah, it's the puffy,
her
the puffy
right there,
blouse,
yeah,
the puffy shirt, and there's Danny DeVito. But yeah, it's very, very 80s, 90s. Yep, those were the days.
Yeah, and it's funny because as you watch this movie, they kept talking about, hey, it's the 90s. Like they're trying to get you right away to adapt to it's nice. He looks like Billy Bob Thornton, but sober.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he does. Yeah. Like before the heroin.
Yeah. Because
before the heroin. I like
which is funny because I
there's
think
no tattoos.
Which is funny because I think in every movie I've seen this guy and he plays a drunk.
He looks
they keep talking about the tech, like this is so high tech, this is the 90s. But I started college in '86 and I had the only computer on the floor, so I would trade time on my computer for beer. People don't want to go to the main lab to like type out their papers, but no one on my floor in my dorm had a computer. So this is 4 years later, so it's funny to see Bruce Willis making fun of the tech, and he's got a pager, and he's fax
he's got
machine.
Ron Jeremy hair.
Yeah, and they're all talking about how and showing all this high tech, quote unquote high tech stuff with computers, and it's really takes you back.
It's weird, like, because 80s movies, it doesn't bother me as much like the technology with the 80s, the 70s, and such. But when we get into movies that are like the early, mid, late 90s, like all the 90s, they just age so bad.
No, Starship Troopers, that has aged exceptionally well.
Yeah, that movie never was any good.
I love that movie.
Sorry, did you just say that movie wasn't good?
Always hated it. Yeah.
No, that movie is on another level
Bobby,
of
why
satire.
is it every
is
fucking
incredible.
time I think I love you, you say something like that?
Well,
are you saying you don't like Starship Troopers?
Vengeance has just the same problems as this. Like you say shit like that all the time, and you expect me to keep loving you.
Dude, I got you.
Okay. Look, dude, I understand. No one loves me.
But you're one of the few. No, I love you because you're one of my few friends who actually dislike Spider-Verse as much as I do.
There we go. We're in solidarity.
But like every time he does something like that, he always has to say something that just makes me go like, man.
Well, you got to look at it this way.
Okay.
I'm old, and when I saw Starship Troopers, I just really did not like the movie at all because of
I
actually like the book.
Okay, I'll give you that.
The book is good. The book is good too, but
the book is incredible. But the movie is not the book. The movie is the propaganda for the world in the book.
In fact, it's the opposite.
That's what people are missing. Like there's so many little details in there that you don't see from the outright, where they're really showing you the in-depth propaganda that's being pushed for you to join them. And
look at it this way, Tom. When I say stuff like that, I get punished for it, but we have to,
You're lucky that I don't hold Starship Troopers on such as a high of plateau as certain other.
Matt wouldn't like it because there's boobs in it.
I have a ton of Tom, I invented the unpopular opinion. I'm sorry.
Now, if you were to
it's
turn
a
around
brilliant
and say,
movie.
Now, if you were to turn around and say something like that about RoboCop, then we'd have to talk.
I guess
I don't agree with you, Claudia.
Just so everybody knows.
I love this.
Controversial position there.
Just so everybody knows, Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Of course.
Like the whole asteroid attack,
which one?
that's subtext. Like that's propaganda. They attack themselves. That's what it alludes to.
You know what pisses me off about this Miles Morales thing? I said this shit days ago. Then all of a sudden, other people start saying it. I get killed on Twitter.
Yeah, why'd you get killed?
Nobody
Tom?
fucking says a word, but as soon
Not
as
fair.
everybody else does it, they're getting like all this support. But it's all right.
I said
I'll
some stuff
remember.
when I could,
I hear
Tom.
you.
No, I know a
stepped
few
in
of y'all
few
here
times.
were behind me, but like there's other people.
I don't do Twitter, Tom. Otherwise, I would have
I
been
only
right
saw it the
behind you.
one time. Was it really that bad? I mean,
I miss everything on Twitter.
Oh, dude, my phone didn't stop for almost a week. It's
Seriously?
still going. Yeah.
I must have missed those tweets because I did not know there was that much backlash to you.
I gotta mention this scene when as you see, obviously Stewart and the guys are trying to get out of there. when McClane goes after them with the helicopter, they actually did get on a helicopter for that scene to go by the plane. Yeah, they actually did get on an actual helicopter. So I thought that was, once again, more authenticity. So once again, more credit for this movie. Yeah, yes, Handy McRandy. Tom did break Twitter.
Hey, Tom, let's do an unpopular opinion show one day, man.
Yeah, right. No, I did get like 3 or 4 death threats, even, man.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Did you give him your address?
Yes.
No, but
You
I
put it
should
on
have.
Twitter.
You should give out your address publicly. You know why? Because you live out in the fucking boonies. Nobody's gonna find a body if you want to dispose of somebody.
That's right. People will die out there. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Trying
Trust
to
me.
find it.
I've had conversations
Go
with the
try to
cop
kill Tom. Give him
where
your
you
best
just
fucking shot.
nonchalantly walk up to a cop and ask him shit about, like, you know, if you have to shoot somebody who's on your property. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. Just make sure that you pull the body inside."
Have you got pigs? Have you got pigs,
Exactly.
Tom? You keep pigs. So I agree.
You don't
with
have to. It's self-defense as long as the body's inside.
Yeah, it's not like in England. And remember, in England, the farmer was shot the guy in his farmhouse, and then he went to jail. It was years ago, but you have no right to self-defense.
Oh, that was a travesty.
Oh my God.
That's England.
They'd robbed that poor guy dozens of times, and this is always at night in the dark. He's on his own in this farmhouse. Naturally, hears something. He shoots them, and he's the one that goes to jail. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. Oh God, I was so angry about that.
Hold up. Toxic Man Flu. Hold up. Toxic Man Flu for $10 says, I imagine that 70s rock fans' naked ass looks like Dennis Francis. Sometimes I worry about myself.
I hate to disappoint him.
RoboCop sucks. Just kidding.
Why are you thinking about his ass?
I hate to disappoint him, but it looks like 2 Dennis Francis. So.
Whoa.
Thank you, Docs.
My God. That's the one thing you won't find anyone that doesn't love RoboCop. I mean, you can find disagreements on most movies, but that's one of those. No, that's not possible.
Oh.
Everyone loves the RoboCop. Did you do that movie? Did we do that on Toxic Tuesday yet?
No, we will. We will. We definitely will do that. There's that's the beauty. There's still so much. Like within 25 episodes, it's like we've done a lot, but at the same time, there's still so much to cover. Especially since like probably like start early into next year. Like Tom gave some suggestions, and their ideas I'm definitely gonna take into consideration. Like the branching out, as long as it's within the realm of toxicity. Like there will definitely be something for like Goodfellas or something. Like we gotta do definitely. Mafia movies are toxic. Like as long as it's toxic.
That poor kid had no way out of getting killed by Joe Pesci.
What do you got, Dustin? Dustin's. He'll be back.
Yeah, or like a Dumb and Dumber. We'll try to fit that in somehow. I don't know if that works.
Actually, I'd say Dumb and Dumber has some moments of toxic. I'd say it has moments of it. I mean, obviously the characters themselves are not, but obviously they have their attraction to the ginger and
too many women for Mad, but that's pretty much with any movie.
Well, that's why we bring him on for a panel like that. That's exactly right. So he'll give it a 0 out of 10.
These two, the two flight attendants that are helping Dick back to his seat, they actually had 2 of the funny lines in the film where they talked about the documentary, the news reports he'd done, flying junkyards and bimbos of the sky. That was actually one of the funniest moments in the film. Bimbos of the sky.
Bimbos of the sky,
yes, here we go. Yeah, once again, he was actually on a helicopter, and then this is where once again you see McClane is not so invincible. He's not so Schwarzenegger, but because he's trying to take on these big guys, who obviously can just destroy him, but he's still trying because he's the hero.
But is this the slowest 747 in the world? It's like, come on,
dozens
put the engines on full, and you take off the jet wash is going to knock that helicopter.
They were
out
planning
the
to taxi the whole way there to the Caribbean.
I mean, I'm dying when I watch this because I've worked in the aircraft industry a little bit. Just like this is so when a movie totally takes you out and is like it's a fun scene to like write up on paper, but it's just total bullshit. I mean, ain't no way this is happening.
Where the hell is he taxiing to?
I mean, and then the noise of the engine too, just the sound when the guy's just got to hit full thrust there. I mean, takeoff, and then the flaps aren't down in takeoff mode either there too. So it's like that's where the movie
maybe he was taxiing out to a different runway.
My question is, how hard do you think he would hit the ground?
Yeah, very hard. Yeah.
Like
but it was. I was just reading.
Splat him like a jelly donut in the highway, or what?
Yeah. I was just reading that 747. It was in a incident in Alaska, and they said after takeoff they had engine troubles, and an engine separated fell off the plane. Strangely enough, the number 2 engine is what ingested Major Grant after the encounter with McClane on the wing. The plane managed to land safely after the incident with no injuries, but so that engine that you see in this movie actually fell off the plane later in 1993. So
wow,
yeah. That's Major Grant's revenge.
Did they find any of John Amos in there?
That's right.
I don't know.
Just the beret.
I was going to say a bad pun, but I won't. Yeah,
the guy from Good Times was about to get killed.
Good Times.
Oh yeah, Jack
Time you make a payment.
Yeah,
that was cool. Yeah.
Another funny line we missed was when they were back in the tower speculating on how to contact the planes, and the guy says, "Oh, get some of those big portable lights." And Barnes, the little guy, says, "Where are we going to get those from? Borrow them from Batman?"
Yeah, Barnes got that guy was in Fright Night. He got to actually do more in this one, though.
Yeah.
I was in a bit saying turn on the subtitles, but then we want to show English is superior to any other language. So because in Spielberg, the new West Side Story, they didn't want.
I heard he buckled on that though.
Oh, he did buckle finally.
I heard, I thought that was the case for this. They better hope they get something out of the second weekend. It's DOA otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, so
Disney just kissed $100 million goodbye.
Yeah. Boom.
Wow.
I mean, that was so many ridiculous ways that you could, so many ways you could puncture his ridiculous argument about that. I mean, 1,000 different ways you could puncture it. It's just.
Yeah, isn't Spanish the language from Spanish, an European language anyway?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's such an
how does that work?
Thing to say,
well, that's just being part of Midnight Session Espanol. There's various different versions of the language, right? Like, we had to kind of settle on one that was kind of the most universal-ish. Like, and we even know we're not reaching the broadest audience we can because there's so many different variations on the language, right? Like, so depending on where you're from, it's different.
Yeah, there's proper Spanish. I think that's Castilian.
And they're Puerto Ricans most meant to be, and that's a different
exactly.
Yeah, like Puerto Rican Spanish is way different than Mexican Spanish.
True.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, look, if you're I have a other half of my family is Italian. If you're from Sicily, you can't speak your version of Italian. You can't speak with people on the quote unquote mainland. And my grandmother was, she got mad at my grandfather. She said, "Go back to the goddamn heel of Italy where you belong." Get in a fight or something. But yeah, it was a totally different language. But yeah, it's just such elitism for Spielberg to say that. What if you're hard of hearing? Like,
well, my wife's deaf. She needs subtitles and everything.
Well, the few people that I know that I saw the West Side Story, I think R&B saw it. I know obviously Paulie saw it. I think Artsy, if he's still in the chat, he saw the very few people that saw it seemed to actually genuinely enjoy it, which I'm glad that they did. But man, Spielberg definitely. I mean, it already had an uphill battle. It already had an uphill battle, trying to be a musical in 2021. With there's definitely an audience for that, but I don't know if it's happening amongst the younger crowd. I mean, there was a point in time where they were all about stuff like Wicked, but God, that was already 15 years ago.
More than that.
Was that actually a younger crowd into that though?
But Glee too, Glee.
Okay.
Maybe
you got a point.
And we talked about this on the other on some other shows, but the thing with West Side Story to me was it was just a mistake from the start because it's in that pantheon of films that you should just never touch, even no matter what you think may be wrong with the original. It just to me is like Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind, King Kong, Wizard of Oz, I mean, King Kong is an exception. I shouldn't even have brought that one up. But
Yeah,
I like the 77.
I would say I'd never touched King Kong.
I would have
I'll
said Psycho,
take
but
Kong
somebody did
Psycho
that.
in there, yeah. But
Somebody
Kong
did
didn't need to
that.
be remade either.
But no, Sound of Music is a great example. We'll reinsert that instead of King Kong.
Princess
right
Bride.
There. Well, that's probably gonna end up getting remade.
I can't stand the sound.
No,
of
I think
music.
I can't either, Jesse. But that's not the point. The point is, if somebody tried to remake that right now, how do you think it'd be received?
I don't think anybody will watch it.
It's like they keep talking about
And
remaking Little Shop
why
of
West
Horrors.
Side Story has a problem, because West Side Story is the type of movie they would force you to watch in school, and the teacher's too hungover to teach class that
well,
day.
that's
and
the
it's time to
point,
turn off the
Jesse.
lights
Is it
and
has
down
such a
your head.
legacy held to it, right? Like you
Yeah,
can't.
but to me, that ain't a legacy. It's a legacy of boring.
Well, maybe
That's a
in
great
that
movie,
respect,
though,
but like
if
it
you
has a
listen to the
family
soundtrack,
legacy to it.
Yeah, The Princess Bride would be the perfect example. You try to redo that, you're in for a
They're already
horror
gonna
show.
try, man.
No,
They're going to, but it's going to
insane do
fail
that.
so bad.
Well, I
funny
came
th-
up with a way it might not fail, but that's a totally different discussion.
Wow.
If they have
I
I'm going to release Rodents of Unusual Size in any theater that shows that movie. Remake of The Princess Bride, yeah.
Okay.
The funny thing
I
about
didn't
the
know
Sound
this
of
happened.
Music. The funny thing about the Sound of Music is I hate the Sound of Music, but I can sing every song in it.
Wow.
We all know 'em
because
all,
my
yeah.
parents played that
What do
bloody
you mean we all
record
know 'em all?
every
I don't
day
know
of my
goddamn
life.
song.
Come on, you know it, Jesse.
All right,
I
everyone
hope you
sing
would.
The Hills Are Alive right now.
The
1, 2,
hills
3.
are alive.
Sounds bullshit.
I don't know any of
What's
this.
the rest of the words?
17.
What a toxic night. We started
Whoa,
singing Sound
what?
of Music.
What's the rest of the words? The hills are alive with the sound of music. What's the rest of the fucking song?
I thought The Hills Have Eyes.
Gay, you're gay.
Gay.
Go watch another fucking musical, Twinkle Toes. I'm gonna watch Die Hard.
Well, Grease is actually
Okay.
a really toxic
Fucking
movie when you
brainwave.
think about it. Grease, like, the girl becomes a quote unquote
Grease
slut in
Lightning.
the
I know
end,
that
right?
one.
And then John, she, so that was controversial in Catholic school to watch Grease, right? And she ends up at the end of the movie wearing those hot leather pants, and
Oh God,
you
yeah.
want,
Ooh.
yeah, like how about the ending? And then they
that
talk
entered
about
me
a girl
into
getting-
puberty.
Girl getting pregnant. Oh my God! I mean, that was a big scandal, and some girls went to see that in Catholic school. I mean, whoa,
Now, does anyone want a piece of really good news?
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are
Almost
going to star Brendan Fraser in the next Mummy movie.
Oh, that is good news.
All right.
I expected a lot more excitement from you people.
That is good news.
No, I stopped and thought
I'm
and
stunned.
digested that.
It's
If any of
stunned.
them outside of the first one were any good, maybe I'd be
Oh,
excited.
come on. The
Yeah,
second, at least
exactly.
2/3 of that is genius.
No,
and then
hold on.
there's a
Sitting
couple of things that go wrong in the last part of the movie, but the beginning, that is pure Mummy.
Yeah,
No,
I don't
that
know how
first-
they're going
that-
to do that, because the stunts
first
on
one
that
was
movie
fine.
destroyed his body.
The second one, my problem was this. I had just become a father, so all I'm thinking about through that movie is why would you take a kid to
Yeah, okay.
like you know the odds are pretty goddamn good since you dealt with the shit in the first movie. And then I watched the trailer, and the trailer even says like that very thing is like the two people on Earth who know they shouldn't be fucking with this shit. are
Yeah,
fucking
okay.
with this shit. And so-
Okay, put that aside, Tom. Like, because I can
Yeah,
totally
I
understand
had
where you're
total
coming from right
issues with
there.
That movie, I hated the second one.
I
never even
second one
bothered with
isn't
the
as
third
good, but if you just watch like the first 2/3, it is solid. It's the last bit, it just falls apart. But Brendan Fraser coming back,
Yeah,
I'm
but
excited.
I like
yeah,
Brendan Fraser.
you
but
know they're going to
It's
kill
good.
him in the first 2 minutes and replace him with a 12-year-old Asian
Hey,
girl. You just know
let's-
it.
but
No, they
before
can't do
we
that to Brendan Fraser. We
before
will
we-
riot.
They'll do it.
as we should. Now let's talk about this last fight. We obviously saw.
Sorry.
No, it's
Sorry, man.
okay.
I'm
What
sorry.
happens with this
Okay.
movie, man? There's just like, yeah, it's.
No, but I enjoyed the last encounter because once again, it shows you that McClane wasn't all perfect, because you guys were saying earlier. He's obviously he had the whole Schwarzenegger thing going on, but yet these are moments where you're like, okay, he's still McClane as far as at least as fighting goes. I'm
Yeah, but
just saying.
someone saying we're missing the plane. It's like
I would say
that is so
the,
ridiculous. It's like 5 minutes. It's like he's on that wing for like 5 minutes, and then finally
No.
they start to take off. Now after it's like,
When the
like
map
the longest
lit up,
takeoff in history. Yeah.
it is a very long takeoff.
Well, when he got to the plane, then he stuffed the Aragons or whatever with that jacket to mess it up so they couldn't take off.
I thought it was more believable than Dark Knight Rises, where they're saying the bomb's going to go off in, 40 seconds, and they're chatting for like 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
That's all movies have, like, countdowns of a few seconds and 10 minutes pass.
I do like how he exiled people.
That drives me nuts. Oh, my God. Hey, if you're going to state it, like, at least put the real time.
Yes. Like, time compression is always a problem.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because
it's either way too short, way too long.
Yeah.
College Humor, when they were awesome, they did a great video making fun of that Dark Knight Rises scene where Batman's like, hold up, but what about the clean slate? The clean slate. He's like, clean as a clean slate. Like, we'll have to watch it. It's hilarious. I promise.
Yeah, Steve mentioned that's right. Yeah, the dude does play Ben, the guy, the henchman, the guy, one of the first guys McClane fights. Plays Ben Urich on Daredevil. That's right.
Hold on, Ben Urich from the 2003 or Netflix?
No, the real Daredevil, the Netflix show where guy was good.
Oh, yes, he was. Yes, he was. Man, Fisk gave him a fucking beating towards the end.
That was really sad.
Yeah, it was. I felt that shit.
I don't understand why they had to kill Ben.
You usually feel it when you get fisted.
Yeah. They didn't kill him in the comics. Why did they kill him in that? But anyway,
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity because don't get me wrong, I love the hell out of season 1, but killing off Ben Urich, they could have still done so much more with him. Like, I get it, they wanted to have someone to.
They wanted to have Karen be the reporter, so yeah, but not good. Yeah. Anyway, there he is. He's happy.
He's happy. He you know that they're all dead. They blew up.
All the talk about fuel and all that stuff. My favorite thing about the whole him torching the plane and stuff is it's great that fuel trail stops right 2 inches from him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
They could throw the lighter on it, and it doesn't come back and burn him up. See right there, perfect timing. Man, he knew right where to lay. That was fantastic.
Well, because he's John McClane, right? Yeah. But RC is right. Yeah, that is a gorgeous. I mean, they filmed it. It's beautiful on film. It's just a cool scene.
I mean,
it's all BS. It's BS, but it's fun BS, right? Yeah, like TMF was saying, you go to movies for escapism. So
it's fun.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, as I was saying before, that I hated that scene on the wing but I mean, it's a fun.
Right.
In the end, it's a fun scene, but it should have been compressed a lot. If you're going to do it, make it a little bit quicker. I mean,
well, and that's what I was kind of talking about here is we keep trailing off because there isn't as much going on story-wise and interesting-wise. Like there's the first and third movie character-wise and all that business. It's a lot of action sequence that just happen and happen and happen and happen.
It's like trying to analyze one of the latest Fast and the Furious movies.
Yes.
You know?
And then once in a great while,
it's enjoyable.
They'll sprinkle in a little bit of what the bad guys are up to. But I think that's another problem is that the bad guys don't have that ulterior motive like they do in the other films. Plus, the only real surprise you get is that those military guys are with the bad guys. Like that's the only real kind of twist you have. So like there's like very little happening for how long this movie is.
Yeah.
Outside of all the action.
Still fun, but it's just
yeah.
It's a lot.
And that's okay.
It's a lot of fun.
Fun is okay.
Right. But again, that's the one thing that does distinguish the third one from me that I do love about the third one is all the stuff that you guys did cover this last week about how all those great characters could have been a show on themselves. The Nearby PD characters and stuff.
Yeah.
They had a lot of great they had a lot of great supporting characters. They're okay in this one. They were better in that one. So in that respect, I can see why that movie is like, I don't know which one's liked better, but that one, you guys like it better.
Well, and I just feel like McClane it just feels so generic in this movie, as opposed to the third film. He feels like a real person. Like he this feels like
Go ahead.
I get where you're coming from, but like I relish in that. Maybe it's because I always skipped over this one that I just don't have the connection so much. But like, because to me, that's where I would picture McClane would be. Because like I said in the beginning, he's married to his job, she's married to her job. No matter what they do, they're just never going to work out. So, like, I can see him going down this rabbit hole of, what do I do? I obviously got to keep doing my job, but I'm still going to miss my wife, so I'm going to be an alcoholic. So, like, it's all still there. Yeah. But, like, and then this bit here.
I thought there was a spin-off.
They could have accomplished that without making him a drunk. I hated them making him a drunk, but I do understand them being separated. Go ahead, Yeti. I'm sorry about it.
No, I thought they did a spin-off with one of the characters, and that was Family Matters.
Yeah.
Another addition to the multiverse.
That's a deep, dark story of how he became Paul. That was because he shot the middle daughter, and he killed his daughter.
Well, all right. Well, since we're at the credits here, 70s. Where do you rank this in toxicity and in greatness? He boomered it. I see him speaking.
By the way, more to your point, Tom, they even sequelized the end theme.
I was holding this thing too tightly.
That's what she said.
That's what in terms of in toxicity terms, I'd probably give it about a 7, but that's just because of the violence. In greatness terms, it's a pretty good action movie, and in that ranking, I would probably give it like an 8 out of 10 as an action movie. As a Die Hard movie, I'd maybe give it a 6 out of 10.
Oh, okay, all right.
He made a new category. He made a new category.
I did. As a Die Hard,
I
give it 6 hardiest out of 10.
All right, Jesse, where do you rank this in toxicity, greatness, and Die Hard?
Toxicity. It's not particularly toxic, I don't think. I mean, there's a couple of
especially considering Bonnie keeps getting one up on what's his ass too.
Yeah, plus Bruce Willis again did not bang that chick in the bathroom like he could have.
True,
I know.
And the greatness. This is my Christmas tree trimming movie, so for me it's a little higher. I'm gonna have to give it an 8. That it doesn't really deserve that much. Handy Randy's, it gets all the Handy Randy's. Could you imagine this movie starring Handy Randy instead of Bruce Willis?
You might have had trouble pulling the seat ejector, but
Yeah, but I can't get it. It's not in a hand.
I mean, it says co-produced by Steve Perry. Is that Steve Perry of Aerosmith, or is that another Steve Perry?
I highly doubt it.
That would have been Armageddon then.
For a while, he was doing everything, right? Yeah.
All right. Mark, where do you rank this?
Die Handy.
Yeah, I agree. Not too toxic other than die handies. Yeah, it's not toxic other than the ice ice kill and some of the kills. Could have been a little bit. It could have even gone gorier too, which I'm glad they didn't. So I give it like a 6 on the toxicity. And greatness. Like what 70 is saying. Yeah, it's a fun action movie. It's raised up because it's McClane. I think if it wasn't McClane, it would have been a lot more boring. So I give it like 7.8 on the greatness scale, but on the Die Hard scale, yeah, I'd go with like a 6 on the Die Hard scale. I agree with 70s. It's it's not a bad horrible movie. Not as many quotable lines. Willis is not set up into a great situation like when he's alone. He's all on his own in that first movie in that skyscraper. No one really had helped him except Powell on the radio, and he's all on his own. So this movie, he's got too much help there, and it just doesn't work. That's why the third movie I think is so much better, where he's got Zeus to play off of, and all the characters there. The city is another character, and
he always needs that character to basically be that conscience or that little angel.
He always needs super helpful black guy.
Yeah.
Look, dude, look. First he had Al, and then he had like that radio operator dude. Then
it worked for The Shining.
Then he had Samuel Jackson.
So yeah,
black guy.
Yeah, so not a terrible movie, and I could see why. Yeah, it's a fun Christmas tree trimming movie, and get you in the holiday spirit with some Die Hard. But,
Indeed,
a little bit too much sequelitis, but it's not a bad movie. I mean, hell, look what happened with Star Wars. Not getting into that, so I mean, you could pick some plot holes or things you don't like about this movie, but still. You still just enjoy Bruce Willis's performance in this, so we all recommend it. I think it's just compared to that first one, it's really a tough movie to follow up, right? So,
yes, sir.
Good pick for December. Awesome job, guys.
Oh yes. Toxic Mayflew again for $10 says, until I see a Dirty Dancing remake with that 70s rock band as Baby, Hollywood can fuck
Now
off.
Toxic. There's enough people with PTSD out there without subjecting them to that.
Now,
I gotta see if they have that in
called all of
Reface.
us gay for knowing a few of the words from a couple of the songs from Sound of Music, and
No.
you're sitting there fucking singing
My
"Time of My Life"
mother-
from Dirty Goddamn Dancing. Justin.
My mother watched that movie so many fucking times.
That's what I said. My parents played The Sound of Music all
And
the
it made
time.
you
Point
gay?
he was saying, yeah.
No, but I don't know all the words. That's all I know. I
what
never
you
felt this
say.
way before. What's the rest of the words? I
Let's
don't
just
fucking
move
know.
on before we.
I gotta see if Dirty Dancing is in Reface. I could get 70s on Baby then. They got the Reface.
I'm telling you,
back, yeah.
there's enough mentally ill people out there without adding to their stress with that. That's...
Well, Nick, I refaced you on Die Hard. I don't know if you
I
saw
am
that
pretty
link.
sure
but,
that they have it on.
Oh, I did it.
Yeah,
I'll
we
have
should
to
play those
see
next
that.
week. Or you got to
You
play
guys-
those, yeah.
Oh,
you guys
let's do
know
that.
The song "Die Hard" by Guys Night.
I don't.
I think I've heard it before.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
You guys gotta check that out. It's like the whole story in a song.
Yeah.
Every movie gets a verse.
Well, Tom, why don't you tell us about your scores?
Boy, honestly, this movie aged better because of the sequels, right? Like 4 and 5. In the past, this was the one I always ignored. I kind of hated it. I would have gave it like a 6 out of 10, but because of the last two films, I now give it in that 7 or 8 out of 10 range. As far as diehards go, though, yeah, it's really down there. It's the 6 out of 10 diehards is really kind of fair. Toxicity level, not nearly as toxic as the first or third one. In fact, this one has, I'll speak for Mads here by saying there's way too much estrogen in this film. Especially considering he gets hit on like 2-3 times and he doesn't nail any of them. That is just ridiculous. Totally gay. Other than that, no. I mean, it looks nice, great supporting cast. So, I mean, how can the same thing happen to the same guy with a little hand twice? I'll give it 9 Handy Randys. If Handy Randy had to find himself in this situation, I think Handy could have handled it pretty well.
I think so too.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, Tom. Dustin,
Are we going to see some porn here? What the fuck?
Here we go.
all right.
I got
Awesome.
Nick is.
That looks like hardcore too.
Take the
No,
screen
this is a
down.
Reface. Yeah, take the screen down. Yeah.
Whoa, was that mad?
No, this is you. Yeah, let me find. There's a longer version. Let me find it. Yeah, hold on.
He's got to hide his screen though, so nobody
Dustin.
knows what weird shit he's looking up.
Yeah, this is all from Reface, so it's all safe. It's all safe.
Oh, okay, so nobody
this is all
knows what
Reface.
weird reface things you're doing
I
into
don't
your
care if there's
porn.
Yeah, I don't,
Sometimes
no porn
porn
on
will
here.
give-
There's no
porn will
porn,
give you
yeah.
a reface.
All right, Dustin. Send
All
out
right.
your scores.
So
Oh,
my
that was
overall
horrifying.
score is going to be
You
like
know, you
a
guys do
7.5.
this so complicated. Anyway, sorry, Dustin.
No worries. Yeah, so 7.5. I think for overall movie. I think there's a lot of things that could be better about it. I think Die Hard scores is probably like what 5 or 6. Maybe I'll give it a 6.
Okay.
And just to keep Matt happy, if he ever actually watches this stream, we'll give it a 0 out of 10 for toxicity.
All right. Cowabunga it is. All right, killer. Oh, those faces are frightening.
Oh.
Like
Clint
fuckery.
Howard.
faces.
It's Ron Howard.
Clint
Yeah,
Howard.
Clint Howard. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that
screen
was,
minimized for a second. Yeah.
that was no fapping during the show, right? Oh,
You know
Nick
what's
watched
scary
it.
is like it barely even looks like there's a difference since Nick don't have the hair.
Yeah,
He almost does kind of look
should've put-
like
That is weird. It just looks like I'm drunk.
Ugh, Jesus.
just a little different nose, really.
oh. Clobbered
Actually, it looks
away.
like Jeffrey Dean Morgan is now in Die Hard. Actually,
Oh yeah. I
you
get
kind
that.
of look like
Alright.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan now that I see that.
So we did Desperado. So Mad's not here, but I put Mad on.
I have such a confused erection right now.
I know that's disturbing but attractive.
Weird. No, that's
He's
not
got
attractive
great
at
tits.
That is just disturbing. Period.
Of course.
That's a double bagger.
Tom, you don't look at the mantelpiece when you're stoking the fire.
If only Antonio was
I'm not even looking at it.
No.
Look,
Double paper bagger, just in case
he
her
doesn't
falls
even
off.
have one of those cute little like girly mustache things. It's just like wrong.
Oh my god, that was hilarious, Mark. That was a masterpiece. Thank you.
That was. I figure he's not.
I'm
here,
never
so,
getting an erection again. Thanks.
That's just fucking wrong, but it's funny.
Even Andy McRandy is confused. Look at that. He's like, what the fuck?
Clobbered, store away.
Yeah, Steve. Thanks. Yeah, like right. Like I'm with Steve there. I'm asexual now. Thank you.
You're welcome, Steve.
Deflated
eggplants.
Damn it.
Right. All right, clobbering.
Yeah, I always love the film. Excuse me. There are some valid criticisms and some that I'm not so sure about, but I'd probably go overall. I love it enough to give it about maybe an 8.5. It's only a little bit deducted for actually the thing that bothered me that no one really talked about that much is some of the stupid political parallel crap in it. I think Sadler's great, but him being Ollie North, that kind of crap was annoying to me at the time, and I don't like that kind of crap even now. For the most part, though, I think it works, and I'm not going to use the silly Die Hard scale. It's just a film. It has plenty of fine Die Hard stuff in it. That's silly. 70s. I'm just going to have to, dude. You're not going to have a talk. Just kidding. But
I made the Die Hard scale. God damn it!
Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Because my point was that
okay.
After Die Hard, almost every action movie for the next 10 years was Die Hard in a, Die Hard on a, Die Hard with a.
Die Hard in a pram.
I stand corrected, and I never learned my lesson not to say the slightest thing that'll get us on a tangent. So
No, but
never learned my lesson.
That's my point with that. Was
no,
like,
I got you. I thought it was 70s. 70s, I judged you wrong.
I don't think. I don't.
He just kept it alive.
Okay, fair enough. I will use that since it's a well-known. All right, I'll just go for it. On a Die Hard scale, I'll give it the same as I rate the film. About an 8.5, deducted for a few things. The Sequelitis stuff doesn't bug me that much, but I do understand it being a problem for some people. I still think there are a lot of nice quotable bits and a lot of fun, ridiculous action. I don't mind ridiculous action in a Die Hard film or any film where I like the characters, and I really still think John McClane is great in this. Now, again, another thing I kind of need a point of clarification on is toxicity level. When you talk about what are you basing its toxicity on?
All sorts of things, whether it's manliness, lack of women,
it's offensiveness to those who don't like manliness.
Okay,
yeah.
In that case, I'll go with about maybe like a 7 for that, because remember, it does actually have a female character that is in a role, but she's definitely in a more of a. She's there, but she's in a damsel in distress role, pretty much. He's saving her. No other women are participating in the action or the decision making, anything at all. If you
That's why he saves the day.
He's making some good points here on the women factor.
I might have to raise my
toxic.
It would be toxic for that reason, where it's still all male. Everything's male, men stuff, and white men, except for one characters. One
that's
bad
not
guy
on the
one
toxic.
good guy. It's okay. It's not just for me. Okay,
there's still a lot of women in that airport, though. Really, I mean,
I was going to say Bonnie used to do too goddamn
and on
much.
the plane. Yeah,
right. But women getting scenes doesn't necessarily make it less toxic. It's still
but her getting a bunch of shit over.
Yeah, they're part of the story. They do get that. They do deal with boy Dick Thunberg at least. Nevertheless, they're being rescued, saved by men. So
maybe, but like here's the thing, like she gets like 1 or 2 over on Dickhead. Yeah. So like
Dick isn't a real man anyway, so
you're right, but they're not they don't have aside from that, they're there to make the already ridiculed annoying guy, Dick Thornburg, he look even worse because he's getting chumped by a bunch of women.
Women. Yeah, Clubby's right. The wham. All right,
that's what Mad would be arguing. I'm trying to argue in Mad's spirit here.
Channel Mad.
Me too.
All right, I'll channel Mad. Too many women. Not enough dudes. not enough dudes without their shirts.
But you do get to see William Sadler's ass.
We do get to see.
boy.
We got a whole lot of ass.
It's
And it was
strange
tight.
lack of
It was
genitals.
tight. That's
But
strange.
he wasn't painted up
Maybe
like
you want to
that.
choose your wording
Now,
different.
in
32.
4K, it's all there.
It was tight.
Is that anthropomorphic?
Well,
or whatever they call
we
it?
got a naked man working out, like fully naked too. Like, so great way to get the movie going. If guys are, and he's sweating to bring his sweat, so you feel that intensity with him. So I'd say this one gets a lot of handy randies just off of the naked man scene alone. So I'd say around 11 handies.
Better than
Oh,
the
come on,
volleyball
but
scene? Better than the
he had
volleyball
like
scene,
all
Nick?
the shriveled cherries. You know, they're he was missing that, so that cuts down on it a bit,
I
doesn't
think
it?
we just missed him a little bit because I'm pretty sure I remember seeing some dangleberries there in the
It's either that or I feel terrible for the guy because I guess 1 out of 10 men suffer from micro penises, so maybe that was contributing to it.
That's why he's such a
Maybe.
dick.
You know what's funny about that
Overcompensating.
scene, and it all seems to go back to Kevin Smith. The scene in the beginning of Mallrats where the dad, played by Michael Rooker, is in his towel and it falls off and he's doing karate shit. That is Kevin Smith making fun of the scene in Die Hard.
Oh,
cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So toxicity, I'm gonna go with a 7 because the brutality is just super badass. I love the brutality. And it makes me wonder how much more it could have been, especially with how much they took about. Obviously, this Die Hard's not a gore fest at the end of the day, so you gotta keep it action, but you don't want to make it like an exhumed album. So I understand that aspect. So yeah, I'll give it a 7. But overall movie, I'm gonna go with an 8.2. I really enjoy this movie. I enjoy the villain. And yes, obviously there's a lot of copy and pasting going on with the setting and the one building and John McClane getting to his wife, but I had fun. And yes, the story is definitely not all there like the first movie, but it's fun. And I had a good time with this one, so it gets an 8.2. I'm going to stand by that score. So that's my score. And now, last but not least, the Yeti.
Oh, okay. Well, this one's obvious. I give it 6.7 get me harders out of 10.
I have no idea what he just said.
He wants you to get him hard.
I think it's the angle of dangle he's talking about.
Yeah, there's a total angle of dangle there. It's only 6.7. It's not full erect, but there's 6.7% erect.
So it's 6.7 or 67.7?
Sorry, 67.
Because that's a big difference.
Yeah. It's a 67, it's good. It's a great
69.
action film, but it's not a particularly good Die Hard film. There's a lot, there's a lot that detracts in the story, but it's generally enjoyable. When you're picking up the late night hooker, generally enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to make the trailer
Generally
for Die Handy
enjoyable?
now.
Generally.
You're gonna have to make the trailer for Die Handy. All you got to do is make
Die Handy.
hands small.
Die handy too. Die handier.
I've got a couple weird
Handy
videos that'll be
Randy.
coming out soon.
Stars and Die Handy too.
Dustin with the hand.
How can the same thing
Dustin
happen
with
to
the
the
hand.
same guy with a little hand twice?
Hold on, Dustin, show us your hand.
Oh,
Ooh, you got some fierce claws
Cat
on your
claw.
hand.
it's almost Terminator style.
That is one of the worst fucking back scratchers ever. It breaks so easy.
How do you know he's using it as a back scratcher?
Toxic. This
If you're not
movie's a
using it for
booty
a back
call.
scratcher, I don't want to know.
This
All right.
movie is a booty
Well, to the chat, this has been fun. Thank you. This next week, of course, if this isn't obvious by now, we're gonna be doing the very first Die Hard. So it's gonna be great. For the new people who came in here, coming from Mead, thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream, and thank you for Tom for promoting it, and for Yeti Cast coming on here, and Clobber Times for coming back as well. And to my regulars, Jesse, Dustin, 70s, and Mark D. the C. And of course, Mark for carrying on with all the stills. Thank you, sir. Thank all you guys. I do appreciate it. And episode 25 is another one for the books. And hopefully we'll get a Mad Martigan handy for episode 26. So you all have a great evening. Oh my God, what the fuck just happened? I guess I had to play it. I guess I had to play the clip.
Play it.
All right, let's see what he did. Oh my!
What has George done?
Whoa.
You know, she made the same face when I showed her my penis.
So you're gonna have some
George!
She'd never seen anything
money
as
for
small
action
in her
figures
life.
now, Nick.
George for $50 says, "All hail my brother
Very
and
nice.
to the amazing panel."
He said
hail.
$50.
Man, George.
George, I will jerk you off for 25. Come on, man.
Yeah, I sent you $50. You got to show some tit, right?
Yeah.
George, that was. as
You
I'm
better be
closing
cradling
out-
the balls for that.
Oh, dude, I will fly over to Texas right now, get some fondling going, George.
I'm sorry,
thank
I'm
you.
I'm stepping on your touching moment.
No, you can touch away. Yeah, you could.
If I had $50, I would give it to George.
It's all right. He'll touch himself later.
It's not
Wouldn't
gay
worry
if
about it.
you touch me.
Wait a minute. No.
All
As
right.
long as I don't cut back.
What if we touch each other at the same time?
We could do a
Down.
Dutch rudder.
Is the Dutch rudder gay?
No.
It, like, or is that okay? Like, how does that work?
No. Dutch rudder, we're not actually, the only parts that's touching is the arms, so we're good.
Okay. So Dutch ruddering's okay.
Yeah, it's not gay.
Yeah.
Not unless you look at my penis, then it's gay.
You can only look at
Well,
your
are
own-
we staring into each other's eyes during this whole point, or what?
No. We're side by side watching porn. That's how it works.
But how do you do the Dutch rudder if you're side by side?
It works best with somebody who's left-handed and right-handed.
Well, it's
Are you left-handed?
small-handed.
Because I'm a righty.
No, I'm a righty. I've never found a partner to Dutch rudder.
Ah, this is
instead
falling
of a
apart.
circle jerk, let's do a square jerk. Let's pick our corners and square jerk. What they stand.
On that note,
I got
it's
What
time
the
to go.
fuck did this just become?
That's right. It's time to
I
leave.
have no idea. I was just going with it, and it went weird.
How did $50 lead to
You know
this
what
discussion?
I don't know.
No, I mean it's easy to buy y'all.
Because we're all trying to decide how far we'll go before it's actually gay.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's it.
What if it started
I
out?
think we crossed
way?
that line a long time ago.
All right, guys.
With
well,
Mad not
what's-
here, we're not sure.
I know.
Still, yeah.
We don't know how gay we could get without
we-
a Mad
we
Martigan.
can't
Can we
figure
play
out where
the
the line
volleyball
is.
scene from Top Gun again, Nick?
Is there a line?
Mad knows the line. He's an expert in it.
Exactly. Like without
He
him,
walks
the
the
line's
line.
blurred.
Yeah, it's. Okay.
And now we've made George regret everything. Like, why did I just send that? This is what I'm getting for my money? A bunch of jerk off talk.
Refund.
Notice he's asking what a Norwegian rudder is, assuming he knows what a Dutch rudder is.
Oh, that's when you use a fish.
Don't you need two fish? I mean, it's.
Well,
What if they're not the
okay,
same
look
fish?
at you, Mr.
What if they're not the same-
Professional.
I'd
They're not
debone
the
that
same
fish first.
species.
That's a different level.
One's a herring and one's a pilchard. It's just not the same thing.
Oh, see, I've only heard of the cod, but
That's a cod piece, I believe.
Ian Anderson was the
Ian
first
Anderson
one to
was
rock
right
the
in
cod
there.
piece. Yep.
All right,
Death Row Towel.
chat. It's been very real. It's been very real. Dutch rudders and all. Stay gay. Stay straight. Do square jerks as much of them as you can.
Whatever
Extend
floats your
yourself-
boat.
Extend yourself if you must. Like, just be ambitious and be stunning and brave. Good night. Good fight. Stay and
Good night,
remember
chat.
play volleyball without your shirts with men only. And George, thank you for the $50.